Yes, guys, let's be real. Football is back. I know international football, it's a Euros year and what not, भाई फलाना ढिमकाना. लेकिन द क्लब फुटबॉल जो हम जीतते हैं, ऑफ कोर्स दुख दर्द पीड़ा था इंडियन फुटबॉल, उसका हम आज जिक्र नहीं करेंगे फॉर ऑब्वियस रीजंस. बट टू डिस्कस द क्लब फुटबॉल बैक, वी हैव इन द हाउस दक्ष, जो बाय द वे मौत का खेल के लिए रेडी है. बिलीव सो दक्ष, मेरे भाई, अब प्रॉपर टाइटल चार्ज और वार्म अप हो गई भाई. आर्सेनल वापस, प्रीटी श्योर मैन सिटी आर आल्सो सेइंग द सेम थिंग ड्यूरिंग द इंटरनेशनल ब्रेक. बट गोइंग इनटू दिस वीकेंड एंड ऑफ कोर्स द नेक्स्ट
Hmm.
मंथ, मैं बोलूंगा द मोस्ट क्रूशियल इन मे बी द लास्ट व्हाट, मतलब दिस सेंचुरी फॉर आर्सेनल ऑलमोस्ट, नहीं?
The most important 10 to 15 games maximum we can play is, I think, अभी क्या 10 गेम्स है प्रीमियर लीग में, 2 legs हैं क्वार्टर फाइनल्स में. द मैक्सिमम वी कैन प्ले इज 15 games. I would love to play all 15, but it is going to be the most important 2 months or so in Arsenal's history in a long, long, long time. So
बिल्कुल.
yeah, very excited, yeah. And of course, instead of starting with Luton or Crystal Palace, we are starting with our title rivals. Yeah, we're starting with Manchester City, probably the best team in Europe, if not if not one of the best.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. यस, बाय द वे हम डिस्कस करेंगे द टीम न्यूज़, द टैक्टिक्स, और यस, टॉकिंग अबाउट टीम न्यूज़ एंड इंजरीज. ऑफ
Hmm.
कोर्स मैं दक्ष से बात कर रहे थे ऑफ स्टेज दैट जस्ट हियरिंग पोचेटिनो एंड देयर इज नॉट सो गुड न्यूज़ फॉर चेल्सी फैंस, बट विल कम देयर भाई. बाकी सब डिस्कस करना है. अच्छा, बाय द वे, जस्ट नॉट ईपीएल इज बैक यार. आई थिंक देयर क्लासिकर इज, देयर जो I think Daksh will have an eye on all the Arsenal fans, especially because of
Hmm.
Bayern Munich in the Champions League in just about what 10 days टाइम है आप लोग का, वो भी
Ninth,
टाई है.
ninth square,
करेक्ट.
yeah. Yeah.
एंड फिर फॉर पीपल आउट देयर अदर लीग्स, आई थिंक दिस इज द वीकेंड जहां पर अगर एक ही मैच है लीगा में अगर इंपॉर्टेंट होता है, वो होता है मेरे लिए एज अ व्यूअर मार्से पीएसजी, व्हिच इज दिस वीकेंड फॉर
Hmm.
पीपल इन केस यू इंटरेस्टेड, अपार्ट फ्रॉम द सेरिया एंड ला लीगा ऑफ कोर्स. लेकिन लेट्स टॉक विद द प्रीमियर लीग. मतलब लेट्स टेक अ क्विक लुक, थोड़ा रिकैप हो जाता भाई सब लोग. इट्स बीन अ लॉन्ग व्हाइल, अगेन बिग अप टू
Long time.
द चैट, शाउट आउट है. लेकिन इट्स बिन ऐसे लग रहा है भाई दक्ष, इट्स बिन अ लॉन्ग टाइम. एक इंटरनेशनल ब्रेक लुक्स लाइक इट ऑलमोस्ट.
मुझसे पूछो,
Obviously,
the last time I saw my team play was 19 days ago, Ankit bhai. That's
wow.
3 weeks, 3/4 of an entire month. I haven't seen Arsenal play since. It's been so long. It's been so long. मतलब अच्छा है. Finally, international break is coming to an end. Finally, I get to see Arsenal play after such a long time. So yeah.
Yes, actually yes, भाई क्वांटम फाइटर विल कम टू द, थोड़ा बहुत हम ट्रांसफर न्यूज कवर करते ही है, यू नो दैट ऑलवेज. लेकिन हाँ
Yeah, of course.
भाई, जो भी लोग देख रहे हैं यहाँ पर, लिटरली हर एक हफ्ते हम बोलते हैं हु इज गोइंग टू विन द टाइटल एक्सेट्रा. मतलब दिस इज द कॉन्वर्सेशन ऑफ, मतलब दक्ष, आपने बोला आर्सेनल के लिए द मोस्ट couple of months which are most important, the last decade and a half at least, if not more.
Hmm.
लेकिन टाइटल रेस के हिसाब से, मतलब यू हैव सीन देयर, मतलब हम दोनों देखे हैं इन टर्म्स ऑफ जस्ट प्रीमियर लीग टाइटल रेसेस, हम एसोसिएट करते हैं एटलीस्ट आर ग्रोइंग अप इयर्स. आई रिमेंबर इट यूज्ड टू बी दैट टॉप फोर, लेकिन चेल्सी, मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड एंड देन आर्सेनल, लिवरपूल, दैट इज हाउ इट वाज
Hmm.
ऑलवेज.
Hmm. Hmm.
और जो मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड आर्सेनल का था, इवन बिफोर दैट द टाइटल रेसेस दैट यू बीन थ्रू लेटर, उसके बाद में ऑब्वियसली नॉट इन द प्रीमियर लीग, लेकिन जनरली मतलब फाइटिंग फॉर ईच कप कंपटीशन. लेकिन थ्री हॉर्स रेस, मतलब वन कैन आर्ग्यू ऑलमोस्ट दैट 2013-14 जब लिवरपूल, मैन सिटी एंड चेल्सी वर देयर, यू कुड आर्ग्यू, बट
Hmm.
रियली चेल्सी वाज अ लिटिल हॉर्स देन. ठीक है, जैसे
Hmm.
जोसे ने फेमसली पुट इट. एंड रिसेंटली मैन सिटी लिवरपूल का रहा ही है. लास्ट ईयर यू कैन आर्ग्यू टू समवेयर, बट आई थिंक इवन इन टर्म्स ऑफ प्रीमियर लीग रेस, मतलब safely we can say this is the best, despite the Manchester United, Chelsea, and the Arsenal, Manchester United years of the yesteryears. I don't think I have seen itna late such a three-horse race. Do you remember any season?
No, you're right about the 13-14 season. I think that was the last time. And I remember something that close. उसके अलावा तो I mean there was one Leicester वाला season where teams are
हाँ,
ऊपर नीचे
टेक्निकली
होती
हाँ,
थी.
उसमें भी आई थिंक स्पर्स, लेस्टर एंड हु वाज द थर्ड, आर्सेनल ही थी.
आई
करेक्ट
आर्सेनल थी
मी.
उसमें.
हाँ,
हाँ.
आर्सेनल थी, करेक्ट. मतलब वही है ना. लेकिन वी आर लिटरली अप्रैल फर्स्ट होने वाला है भाई. अप्रैल फूल्स डे इज गोइंग टू बी वेरी क्लोज एंड वी आर लाइक, वी डोंट नो. हर एक हफ्ता लिटरली वी आर सेइंग, एंड दैट इज व्हाट आई थिंक, एटलीस्ट फॉर फैंस लाइक अस, हम हमारे क्लब को तो
Hmm.
फॉलो करते ही है, लेकिन जस्ट एज प्रीमियर लीग फैंस ना, समटाइम्स इट हेल्प्स, दोस काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स एज अ न्यूट्रल. बट ऑफ कोर्स हम उस पर आएंगे. बट बिफोर दैट, in terms of the fixtures, some big fixtures other than Man City, Arsenal. Newcastle, West Ham, Daksh, matlab, if you have to say two teams which are like very hot and cold, but West Ham have done well
Hmm.
considering the resources. फिर भी lot
Hmm.
of यहाँ question marks on David Moyes.
Hmm.
Newcastle, on the other hand, they've not been doing so well last second half of the season, especially. Na? But generally, what do you think is the issue? Is the fact that you don't have Eddie Howe managing those kind of clubs in the past, or आप बोलोगे it's just because of injuries? Because
Yeah.
for me, it's a clear case of Newcastle losing the plot more than anything.
I mean, if you look at the record, look, on form, on goal difference, their record is actually so much better around all the teams जो उनके आसपास है. बाकी इनके -2, -4, like इनका +11 का GD है at least. They've won 12 matches. I think the biggest issue for them is that they've not had a consistent lineup जो इनको कर सके. कभी डिफेंस इंजर हो जाता है, कभी मिडफील्ड इंजर हो जाते हैं. उनको 17 साल के लुइस माइली को खिलाना पड़ा. They've been
Hmm.
playing sometimes without strikers, और एंथनी गॉर्डन को स्ट्राइकर पे खेलना पड़ रहा है, who is actually a winger. एल्मिरॉन का जो पर्पल पैच था वो अब नामो निशान नहीं है उसका, एंड विल्सन एंड ईसा कैनॉट स्टे फिट. One of their biggest midfielder signings got banned for gambling. So it's just been a bad start and bad middle. And now, hopefully, let's see क्या होता है उनके, क्योंकि now they are stuck in 10th. And बहुत highs and lows आ गए उनके, because in the first season of their new ownership they were in the Champions League, they were in the group of death. उन्होंने इस season PSG को हराया हुआ है. But then also they've had such low lows जहाँ पे ये they've lost games with very big margins, and they've not fielded a very good team. You can see their injury list already. They've not had the number one keeper in such a long time. उनका second and third keeper भी injure हो जाते थे. डार्लो,
Hmm.
sorry, Dubravka and Karius को खेलना पड़ रहा था. So yeah, it's just not being good यार. उनके जो targets भी थे ज़्यादातर तो खैर नहीं हुए, but of course they got Lewis Hall from you. कहीं कहीं I think Eddie Howe की भी गलती है. He has his
I
favorites.
think वो underused है. मतलब there are
Yes,
reports in that
yes,
first of all he will be finally a Newcastle player. लेकिन at the
yeah.
same time वो he's not sure about him being a left back. But लेकिन like you said, Lewis Miley of course special talent.
Hmm.
लेकिन I don't think Lewis Hall was even used in midfield. मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि he's a left back
Nine,
per se.
yeah,
Uh,
he insisted with Dan Burn so
yeah.
much at left back. Matlab, to a point where it started hurting the team. Um, Dan Burn project at left back worked for a good while, but then teams started figuring out how to get the better of Dan Burn. They actually made him a
Hmm.
weakness. The problem is it took him such a long time to either get Lewis Hall or Tino Livramento in that left back position, because right back पे तो Kieran Trippier ने कब्जा करा हुआ है. फिर ट्रिपियर इंजर होता है, फिर लिवरामेंटो राइट बैक पे जाते हैं, एंड फाइनली जब डैन बर्न इंजर होता है तब आप देखते हो लुइस हॉल को लेफ्ट बैक पे. सो he has been also a little adamant with his choice selections. Maybe you can call it loyalty, because यही सारे players ने उसको last season तक Champions League पे ले गए थे, and he sort of backed their ability to get them out of this mess again. But I would say most of it is injury. Eddie Howe मेरे हिसाब से with the squad he had, with the problems he's had, 10th is a fair reflection of what this injured, depleted Newcastle squad is worth. Like, मतलब
Think
इनकी
so?
यही है. Yeah, I think
मतलब
right with like.
भाई लेकिन मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड भी वेरी डिप्लीटेड थी टू से दैट चेल्सी हैव बीन वेरी डिप्लीटेड वी आर देयर देयर अबाउट इनफैक्ट यू कैन आर्ग्यू चेल्सी का टू गेम्स इन हैंड है ठीक है
Hmm.
कंपेयर्ड टू मोस्ट ऑफ द साइड्स एंड मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड बट वी ऑल नो मतलब अगेन विल
Hmm.
कम टू मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड का गेम एज वेल
I
लेकिन
just think highly injured जो squads होते हैं ना, like if you look at Brighton, highly injured this season. Newcastle, and of course they lost their two best midfielders. Newcastle, highly injured this season. Chelsea, highly injured this season. Wolves, they've lost Cunha, Neto, पता नहीं अब Huang, a lot of injuries. Neto तो खैर उनके primary wingers ही available नहीं थे. So all
राइट
these teams right now, 8th to 11th में bunched, and I think जो Tottenham and Man United हैं, they're actually done much better than they're supposed to. कि स्पर्स में भी बहुत इंजरी थी, बट दे जस्ट मैनेज टू प्ले थ्रू इट बिकॉज दे हैव अ कंसिस्टेंट आइडेंटिटी. विद यूनाइटेड एज वेल उनके बैकलाइन की वजह से इश्यूज हैं, इसलिए इवन तो उनकी पोजीशन ठीक है, बट दैट पोजीशन ऑल्सो बिकॉज द फैक्ट अ लॉट ऑफ लास्ट मिनट विनर्स केम इन. मैकटोमिने ने ब्रेंटफोर्ड के अगेंस्ट मार दिया, मेनो ने किसी के अगेंस्ट मार, सो दैट्स लाइक 6-9 पॉइंट्स ओवर देयर एज वेल. इफ यूनाइटेड से आप 6-9 पॉइंट काट दो, दैट इज अराउंड 38 पॉइंट्स, विच इज अगेन बैंग अराउंड 11th और 12th, right? So I think the good thing about United is they have that clutch gene in these players. जिन्होंने उनको एक्स्ट्रा 6 to 9 पॉइंट्स दे दिए, जिसकी वजह से पोजीशन काफ़ी अच्छे से एलिवेट हो गई है, एंड दे मैनेज टू वर्क अराउंड इट रियली रियली वेल. सो मेरा वही है कि लाइक अगर आप इंजर्ड हो जाते हो और आपके मतलब चेल्सी में आपने कितना बोला था अभी राइट नाउ करंटली हाउ मेनी प्लेयर्स वुड बी इंजर्ड, 8 9
भाई 9, 9 हो गए
9.
6 to 9,
Like
मतलब दैट इज द एवरेज इज
if you
7
can
to
make
8.
an injured 11, I think it is very logical, I would say, that you will be around 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th.
Wow. मतलब again, मतलब some people might say it's मतलब excuses, but the reality is that अच्छा मैं I just realized I didn't switch on my right. Like guys, again, lot of people watching. जैसे मैंने comment में भी highlight करने की कोशिश की, we are trying to basically cover all the matches. So don't worry, always a fan channel for all to see. Or people on you, consider subscribing. अच्छा, by the way, I was telling Daksh off stage, there was a great Who Am I quarterfinal happened yesterday. Daksh was there in the Who Am I. We had Daksh. This one, to bhai, if you missed, you have to watch.
Yeah,
Like probably
I'll watch
the
it.
closest to the closest Who Am I that
Damn.
have hosted in 5 seasons. One of those मतलब crazy वाला था कल तो मतलब absolutely
Hmm.
crazy.
By
लेकिन
the way,
we'll
did
get
you
to
see
that.
there is a new game on Play Football Games?
Is there okay? I have to check it
There is
out.
a
यार.
new game called Tenables.
Oh, okay, cool, cool. क्योंकि I
Which,
have been in touch with them, लेकिन it's been a while since I've
yeah, yeah,
spoken to
yeah.
them. लेकिन
It's
हाँ,
really. Hmm.
coming back to the predictions, guys. First game Newcastle West Ham, the early kickoff है कल. तो Daksh,
Home पे कौन है?
looks like it. You might give the home side advantage for St James's Park, or considering international break. Yeah, David Moyes is probably the right person to play against the Newcastle team, in my opinion.
Yeah. Look, I think who did Newcastle lose? I think international duty pay they lost another person, unfortunately for them. Um, but yeah, I actually will go for a draw in this one.
Draw.
I think yeah, I'll go for a 2-all draw in this one.
Oh yeah, Newcastle have been more cold than hot. लेकिन West Ham have been either very hot or very cold. So it's
Hmm.
one of them, or early kickoff after the international break. So that'll be interesting factor.
Miley injured हो गया, I think. So
हाँ,
even
so
more
there are a
depletion.
lot of injuries again yet. So it might, I think draw is fair. सब लोग in the chat आप लोग भी बोलेगा for sure. But obviously we are also going to be speaking about our club. वो avoid नहीं कर सकता. कहीं ना कहीं आपने बोला ही है. Yes, coming to the Man City Arsenal 100% and the other big games. लेकिन जस्ट पॉच ने कंफर्म किया है अनफॉर्चुनेटली चुकुमे का, जो बाय द वे
Hmm.
लिटरली 2 हफ्ते पहले हमारे
He
लिए
looked
एक
so good as
विनर
well. He looked so
मारा
good in
था.
the last match in the
But
FA Cup as well.
I don't know. The guy is literally made of glass. मतलब we've had some players in the Premier League, a lot of them in the past, मुझे याद है, who have that thing about getting injured literally every second game. And he's very young, I know. Chukwuemeka is someone जो एक मतलब he's someone who can open up defenses और हमें वो चाहिए,
Hmm.
especially in low block we cannot play. Now
Yeah.
Burnley the side जो ideally they should be playing that, considering उनका जो relegation battle चल रहा है. लेकिन Daksh, firstly from Burnley's perspective, yes, they had a great result thanks to David Datto Fofana, हमारे ही player on loan, helping them out in the last match against
Of
Brentford.
course. And वो इस
But
game में नहीं खेल पाएगा.
yeah, but do you think they can escape relegation?
Now it's gotten to a point, Ankit bhai, where a lot of pragmatism will set up. I remember their game versus us, and even though we beat them quite easily and comfortably, now a big thing was that they weren't playing the way they usually play, open possession based football. They were very like वो काफी पीछे sit back कर रहे थे. So now I think pragmatism will take over a lot. Also considering the fact that Nottingham Forest को in this international break deduction हो गया है as well. Now, of course, all of them
Yeah.
are already in that relegation zone. But if Burnley, who are 8 points behind Nottingham Forest, अगर ये ऐसे games है, especially away from home, I think Chelsea are at home in this one. Yeah.
Yeah, Chelsea was Burnley, yeah. Stamford
Look,
Bridge.
they don't need to win. They just need to be here to get a point. If they get a point, that's a big, big point for them. Um, because now they just have to overcome Forest, Sheffield. So I think, anyways, it's pretty much down and out. Although to be fair,
Mm.
3 points ही पीछे हैं. So sometimes for these especially relegation teams, जीतना important नहीं है, बस एक point
Mm.
करके आगे बढ़ो because एक point भी आप difference बना सकता है. So yeah, I would say that Burnley, it might not be straightforward, but I expect Chelsea to win.
चलो भाई देखते हैं। एंड यस भाई, बिल्कुल गौरव भाई, अभी एक मैच, वन मैच एट टाइम करते हैं। दैट इज इट्स अ बिग डील यार, मतलब इट्स अबाउट काउंटिंग वन वन पॉइंट, वो गॉन आर दोस डेज भाई, वी
Yeah.
डेफिनेटली हैव टू
So Gaurav
सी
सही
दैट।
कह रहे हैं। Chalobah didn't go for international break. Carney didn't go for international break.
By the way,
Sanchez didn't go
Chalobah
for
is also a
international.
fresh injury.
Yeah.
Sanchez
So,
on the other hand, भाई we don't want injury to anyone, but Sanchez to be honest वो इतना बड़ा लॉस नहीं। इनफैक्ट कहीं ना कहीं
hmm,
I'm happy that at least not for the injury, but at least वो एक ऑप्शन नहीं है कोच के पास,
hmm.
because for whatever reason I don't know what he does in the goal यार। लेकिन Cobra है बोले we need to sack our entire medical staff. Players come back from injury and then they get injured again after playing 2 games is frustrating. भाई Eva Carnero, bhai. People, get on social media.
Get on
She
social.
is the one,
Get
man.
her
She is the
back.
one, भाई। Daksh, remember that, right? मतलब एक मोमेंट भाई जो हुआ था हजार्ड के साथ, I remember Jose Mourinho lost it. I think after that we have been
Ah.
cursed for injuries। मतलब any season, even our successful
Hmm.
season, आप देखो ना, injuries, हम एक injury एफसी से मतलब जाने जाते हैं of late for the last few years in fact, but up to Todd Bowley and co have also removed a lot of medical staff, but Daksh, I think it's more about Poch to be getting the blame, because यार आप international break में obviously you're just training, and the training methods at best are not good
Hmm.
enough, as in a bit too much, because Poch was I think Poch और Conte मुझे याद है दो मैनेजर were kind of criticized or rather sometimes praised also, क्योंकि बहुत ज्यादा work rate होता है। You think that is the reason, or you think it's just about luck?
It's the problem is a lot of injuries are recurring. मतलब of course नए players तो injure हो रहे हैं, but जो players injured थे वो दोबारा injure हो रहे हैं, उनके setbacks हो रहे हैं.
Hmm.
Like you, Lavia का भी किसी ने, आप जैसे पुदिन कह रहा है, Lavia got injured, now he's out for the rest of the season. It started with a thigh problem. He played what,
30
10
minutes.
minutes of a game, or yeah, something, 20-30 minutes of a game, and that's it. um, that happened. And then Lavia is injured. Then आप देखो आपके somebody just randomly, मतलब literally Fabrizio Romano का tweet आता है, this player has been added to the injured list, or this player is now going to start his rehab for no rhyme or reason. So it is definitely something on the training pitch. आपको अगर याद हो, when Kane was at Spurs with Poch, Kane
Hmm.
always had this annual ankle injury. ठीक
Correct.
है, एक उसको ankle injury बार बार होती रहती थी, ठीक है, and it got to a point where Kane got his own medical team. Kane, apart from like club medical team से छोड़ दिया उसने, he got his own medical team to make sure, और उसके बाद उसकी injuries काफी drastically reduce हो गई. So I think it's a mix of both. जहाँ पे I think the training methods are anyways not conducive to recovery, or and at the same time I think the medical staff is either not equipped enough to handle this volume of players जिनको सबको एक sufficient attention मिल सके for their recovery. So either it's short staffed or they are not skilled enough. अभी मैंने देखा था कि Chelsea have opened a position up for some medical head of something, head of medical sciences or whatever it is at Chelsea during the international break. Yeah. और मैंने एक और आर्टिकल पढ़ा था where some players were rushed back because central midfield में options नहीं थे, तो उसकी वजह से ये हो गया वो हो गया. It's like the perfect recipe of disaster यार, क्योंकि yeah, like I don't know when was the last time I saw Nkunku play. I don't know when was the last time I saw Uguchuku
मतलब मैं
play.
बोल रहा हूँ ना, एंकुंकू, लाविया, इवन टू सम एक्सटेंट चुकुमेका, फोफाना, मतलब these are four, मैं नहीं बोल रहा हूँ everyone starts every game, but these four improve any 11 to be honest, and I mean literally any 11. Chukwuemeka might be very young, लेकिन Chukwuemeka जैसे हमने बोला is a difference maker, is someone who opens up defenses, which obviously every team needs, and he's someone who could easily fit in the starting 11. Starting 14 at least of most of the sides, despite being so young, इतना मतलब quality है, but वही है, he has to prove it. Nkunku, मतलब he has arguably been the best striker in Germany for the last better part of last 3 years. मतलब you can
Yeah,
say I
yeah.
know Germany है, but फिर भी even in Champions League हमने देखा है.
Hmm.
Lavia, मतलब I saw some stats. I don't know if people remember. Obvious reason is by first of all he's a Man City graduate, ठीक है.
Hmm.
Then for Southampton, मतलब you can easily say he was a mainstay in that midfield. I
Mhm.
think last season जब they were fighting against relegation,
Yeah,
he
very
was
difficult
their
player.
only
Yeah.
hope at times, और जब वो नहीं रहता था they used to lose, and that was a stat there as well. So he had
Hmm.
a lot of minutes. So it's also about luck apart from the training method. So it's a bit of both for sure. But against Burnley now, Burnley, they are kind of fresh with a victory. But again, to break आया है, David Dato Fofana will not be eligible for this being on loan, obviously.
Hmm.
Chelsea kind of 11 Daksh, we pick ourselves. I don't think ज़्यादा difference होगा. Levi Colwill भी बाहर है, तो
Colwell is
मुझे
out.
लगता है
Gusto is doubtful as well.
नहीं, मालो गुस्तो होपफुली शुड प्ले। मालो गुस्तो
Okay.
भाई इतना हार्ट अटैक नहीं चाहिए, कुछ ज्यादा ही हो जाएगा वो तो। मालो गुस्तो also there, but I think Malo Gusto should be there, and then we'll have I'm assuming Thiago Silva को मिलना चाहिए। What do you think about as a neutral that I think you know about it ना, Bele Silva's wife kind of
Yeah, yeah. No, we
referred to that,
spoke
watch out.
about this last time also, that I think there has been some sort of a breakdown. Like the manager was trying really hard to establish his authority in the dressing room, and वो जो wife का था social media post did not help at all. तो अब वही हो गया कि like now he'll be phased out. He has nothing to prove at Chelsea. He's a legend of the game by himself, not to mention at Chelsea anyway. So he has nothing to prove. एंड पॉच को भी मेरे को नहीं लगता इतनी डिफिकल्टी होगी उससे मूव ऑन करने में, बिकॉज वो बोल सकता है कि ही इज ओल्ड, नीड्स टू बी फेस्ड आउट, वी ऑलरेडी हैव अ लॉट ऑफ सेंट्रल डिफेंडर्स जो आएंगे, ये सब वो सब करेंगे। सो है यार, आई थिंक इट विल बी लाइक अ मोर और लेस एमिकेबल स्प्लिट। यहाँ पे ज़्यादा ड्रामा होना नहीं चाहिए, बट वही है कि लाइक नो मैनेजर लाइक्स द फैक्ट कि उसकी अथॉरिटी पब्लिकली, यहाँ पे तो ड्रेसिंग रूम की बात नहीं हो रही है, पब्लिकली इन फ्रंट ऑफ फैंस, इन फ्रंट ऑफ अदर टीम्स, सबके सामने अथॉरिटी अंडरमाइन हो जाती है, दैट दिस मैन हैज नो कंट्रोल, इसको रिप्लेस कर, व्हाटएवर, मतलब से व्हाटएवर द सोशल मीडिया पोस्ट सेड, इट्स बीन टू लॉन्ग। सो या, आई थिंक दैट रिलेशनशिप इज ओवर, बट अभी जरूरत का टाइम है। सो आई थिंक डिसासी विल बी देयर, आई थिंक थियागो विल बी देयर, आई डोंट थिंक देयर आर
They
अदर
pick
सेंटर बैक्स।
themselves क्योंकि लिटरली चालोबा भी नहीं है, and I'm pretty sure भाई he's not going to do a Potter and play कुकुरे at center back भाई, I hope not वो हो। but again वहां पर भी हमारे पास injuries, so probably he'll
लेफ्ट
probably
बैक
start
कौन
at left
खेलेगा?
back।
चिलवेल इज फाइन, आई थिंक चिलवेल इज फाइन।
No, but he's just coming back, so I think it might be Kukurea. Kukurea might actually start, in my opinion. He had a good game the last time around, मैं बोलना चाहूंगा,
या
तो I think it might be Kukurea. But again, in terms of form, you can see Burnley, मतलब we should beat it. Midfield में, that's the point, right? Because of the fact that Lavia is out for the season, I am assuming Gallagher, जो बहुत conversation चल रहे थे in the international break for obvious reasons because of his contract issues. I believe Enzo and Caicedo have traveled a lot during international break, South America, में जाकर आते हैं and all that. So I believe Burnley ये है. I know we are 11th, we are desperate. We have a faint hope. अभी we are faint hope for getting in that European spot, Daksh. So if you were Poch, are you going to be risking Enzo and Caicedo, considering the long travel, etc., which they've had both? Yeah, you would say play Gallagher and one of them, and you go with the Palmer as the number 10, Madueke on the right hand side with Mudrik or Sterling. We want Mudrik, but we all know Poch would pick Sterling.
नहीं, आई थिंक he'll go for the old reliable यार। Right now the position on the table is also very risky because Fulham, although उन्होंने आपसे 2 गेम ज़्यादा खेले हुए हैं, they're just on your neck, 1 point behind you. Of course अगर आप लोग अपने गेम्स इन हैंड जीत जाते हैं दोनों वाले, so you should be on like
Yeah.
45 points, which is right up till 8th.
वो ifs and buts है ना, क्योंकि गेम्स इन हैंड मतलब वो डबल एज स्वॉर्ड हो सकता है, मतलब
Yeah,
could
one of them is against us only. एक आर्सेनल के अगेंस्ट अ गेम इन हैंड आप लोगों की।
and we have a saying title races in the past, just saying that.
Yes.
Just
So
saying. लेकिन
you can decide title race by yourself also. But मेरे हिसाब से यही है, देखो जब तक पोटेंशियल है ना किसी भी फॉर्म ऑफ यूरोप खेलने का, मुझे लगता है he will go for old reliable. He will go for
yeah,
your standard midfield of Enzo, Caicedo, Gallagher मेरे हिसाब से, and then Sterling आगे, and then Jackson आगे, and Palmer आगे।
yeah, I think that's it. Again, Cole Palmer has been brilliant. लेकिन एक चीज बोलता भाई, Cole Palmer, you don't have to be too good to your Man City senior यार. In case Sterling plays, I don't know for whatever reason, giving him the penalty the other night was crazy 2 weeks ago. ये भी strange है कि Poch has said that we are not having a designated penalty taker, which is quite surprising considering Palmer ने बहुत सारे penalty दिए और अच्छा लिया है. तो but again, at the end of the day, it is what it is, and that's
think
where Poch का
seniority वाला issue होगा। Again,
so
right
maybe
now
that.
Poch has so much to deal with यार। Owners को साथ डील करना है, फैंस प्रेशर के साथ डील करना है, आपके हाईएस्ट पेड प्लेयर वुड वांट टू बी द मेन प्रोटैगनिस्ट ऑन फ्री किक्स एंड पेन्स, एंड वो नहीं चाहेगा कि कोल पामर जैसा अपस्टार्ट उसको रिप्लेस कर दे। तो स्क्वाड हार्मनी से लेके फैन प्रेशर से लेके ओनर्स के साथ कम्युनिकेट करना है, अपनी नीड्स कम्युनिकेट करनी है, बैलेंस करनी है ओनर्स के विजन के साथ। ही हैज़ अ लॉट ऑन हिज प्लेट यार। And to be honest, at a level, I think he is also very fortunate that Jackson has turned his game up a lot. I would shout out Nicholas Jackson. Abhi,
बिल्कुल बहुत अच्छा खेलता है.
he has been a very Like, of course, उसका मजाक उड़ता है. Sometimes he will fluff his finishes and whatnot and all that stuff. जैसे गौरव लिख रहा है, येलो कार्ड्स फालतू में लेता रहता है वो. But I'll just say that he has had a very good first season for somebody his age, for somebody coming into a new league. That is a very good return in a team which is struggling right now, unfortunately, in mid-table. So Palmer का of course उसको plaudits मिलते रहते, but Nicholas Jackson and some days sometimes it's very important to get that first goal because उससे ना गेम खुल जाता है और फिर आपके बाकी प्लेयर्स और बेटर करते हैं. So I will also shout out Nicholas Jackson as well this season. Yeah.
मतलब वही है, मतलब एट द एंड ऑफ द डे ऑल एग्स इन वन बास्केट वाली चीज हो गया बिकॉज ऑफ इंजरी. सो इट्स ऑल निकोलस जैक्सन और इट्स
Yep.
ऑल यहाँ पर कॉनर गैलेगर इन जस्ट
Yep.
बिहाइंड हिम और इट्स ऑल बेसिकली एंजो ट्राइंग टू क्रिएट फ्रॉम मिडफील्ड और पामर ऑन द विंग्स. मतलब ये चार आर गोइंग टू बी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. बट काइसेडो को भी शॉट आउट जस्ट लाइक निकोलस जैक्सन. आई थिंक
Yeah.
लास्ट
Yeah.
3 महीने आई थिंक काइसेडो आर्ग्यूबली मैं बोलूंगा मतलब has been the player of the last 3 months almost. It's been so good. He's overtaken, Gallagher's and even the Palmers for the last 2-3 months मैं बोलूंगा. Although Palmer has been brilliant, obviously. लेकिन guys, score prediction में देख रहा हूँ काफी लोग बोल रहे हैं confident, लेकिन हाँ, so much about it 2-2. By the way, हमने ब्रेंटफोर्ड के साथ ड्रॉ किया था. We'll come to Manchester United game against Brentford. तो अगर ब्रेंटफोर्ड के साथ अवे we can draw, why not draw against Burnley who are on a good run? But वही है, I think
I'll say actually a comfortable 3-0 for
we should
Liverpool.
win. Yeah, we should win. I think despite the injuries और वो सब हमें
This is
जीतना
a
चाहिए.
team you're much superior in quality.
लेकिन आई थिंक मोस्ट ऑफ द साइड्स एंड अभी उससे ही चल जाते हैं नेक्स्ट गेम पर. मोस्ट ऑफ द साइड्स दक्ष, I think they have struggled over the years just right after the international break. The big sides I'm talking, because obviously they have more people going for international, right? Is bar obviously there were a few important internationals, like for example, Mudryk got his country Ukraine to get qualified in
Yep.
Euros,
Yep.
right? So with that respect, in terms of just having more internationals out, I believe Man City के पास तो बहुत ही ज्यादा injuries का news आ रहा है. Again, I'm not sure how bad they are. We'll look at that. लेकिन
I have a feeling Stones wala is actually very serious now.
Stones
Now
वाला is serious,
I
right?
think I think a ductor injury हो गया है उसको. That's not good.
So in terms of जो available squads, despite being an away game, मतलब is it fair to say क्योंकि Man City haven't used a lot of squad actually if you see इस बार compared to other years, they haven't really used them as in terms of minutes. They have a great squad obviously Man City यार, लेकिन इतने यूज नहीं किए. तो अभी इंजरीज जो हुए ना लास्ट में, मतलब इट कुड इन अ स्ट्रेंज वे बेनिफिट आर्सेनल बिकॉज योर बेंच इज नॉट एज टेस्टेड ऑल्दो दे आर वर्ल्ड क्लास प्लेयर्स as what
Mm.
a normal season would have. Well,
Mm.
Pep Guardiola to be little bit criticized for sure, don't you think so?
Huh, but look, I think it's also about his trust. I would say this summer has been uncharacteristically uncharacteristically strange for Man City in the sense कि उनको अपने primary targets बहुत कम मिले. If you think about it, okay, of course they got Guardiola, which I think is huge. बहुत अच्छा player बनेगा eventually. But if you think about it, they got Doku, which again he probably really wanted somebody like that, but he will take time to adjust to the league. Pep के wingers को time लगता है. Grealish का हमें याद है. Grealish तो Premier League में ही था, but getting used to the Pep system takes time. They wanted Declan Rice, ended up getting Nunes, ended up getting Kovacic, who again are great players, very experienced players, but again will take time for the Pep thing. So he has stuck with people who he can trust. Walker right back खेलेगा.
I
Guardiola
think
को उसने
Walker, Haaland इस list में definitely are back as well as Bernardo Silva, I think, bro. Correct me if I'm wrong,
इस
guys.
लिस्ट में से
Diaz, sorry.
Haaland is fine. Stones का I'm sure Stones का I think is injured. I think Walker will be okay. Akanji will also be all right. Baki
Yeah,
yeah.
Kanji ka, I believe it's a huge doubt. I just read it
Yeah.
now. Kanji is a huge
Yeah, वो
doubt and
सन वाली
Stones
रिपोर्ट
obviously is out.
थी, but I think he played. I think that Switzerland वाला match he played fairly okay. I think so.
हाँ,
But
वहीं पर कुछ वापस से कुछ हुआ है, I believe.
so
That's what I
let's
read.
see. Let's see. I have a feeling it'll only be Stones who is out injured, and for us it'll only be Martinelli who will be on the bench. But it won't surprise me if somehow all of them or all of them make the squad, if not the first 11.
Right.
देखो यार ये होता है. A lot of times it's mind games, a lot of times it's strategic pulling out and all that stuff. हमने भी किया है.
Especially with Pep.
Oh yeah, with Pep तो for sure. हमने भी इस season किया. Finally, thankfully, Ben White made himself unavailable for England. Saka pulled out, but although I think Saka का पूरे Arsenal journalist कह रहे थे throughout the season that he's tending an Achilles injury, and I think England doesn't want to risk him for these meaningless friendlies. उसको Euros ले जाना चाहते हैं. Plus, of course, title race है ही है. Gabriel pulled out. Saliba only played one game. Kiwior का मेरे को थोड़ा सा because he played 120 minutes in the last international game.
एक्चुअली
Martinelli,
वहां पर आई स्टॉप यू
yeah,
नाउ ऑब्वियसली मैन सिटी के साथ है एंड गैब्रियल जेसूस एज इन द वर्ड ऑफ टाउन इज दैट वो शायद खेलेगा बट जिनचेंको मतलब वेयर डू यू स्टैंड ऑन जिनचेंको वर्सेस किवियोर बिकॉज ऑल ऑफ अ सडन किवियोर इज ओवरटेकन जिनचेंको यार प्रीटी श्योर नहीं
yeah, it's all about dynamics. I don't think either of them are really bad players. I think for the first time we have been forced to use Arteta has been forced to use a squad beyond his preferred 11 to 14 players. Kiwior is essentially a center back जिसको मैं left back खिलाना पड़ रहा है because Timber got injured, Tomiyasu got injured, and Zinchenko got injured. Our three left backs got injured. So we essentially had to move a center back to left back. लास्ट टाइम हमने किवियोर को खिलाया था, हमने उसको इन्वर्ट करने की कोशिश करी थी, नहीं हुआ. एंड फिर हमने अब चेंज करके किवियोर को ट्रेडिशनल लेफ्ट बैक खिला दिया एंड बेन वाइट को इन्वर्ट करा दिया. एंड बेन वाइट इज फैंटास्टिक एट दैट एज वेल, थैंकफुली. सो वी हैव मेड इट वर्क समहाउ. I still think though, in this game, now that Tomiyasu is back, he did not go to international break. Partey did not go for international break. Timber मेरे हिसाब से end of the season ही आएगा. I don't expect him to be there. So all these guys coming back, maybe Tomiyasu plays. I think इसमें हमें एक बहुत स्टैंडर्ड सा 4 सेंटर बैक्स वाला लाइनअप खिलाना पड़ेगा. दो एक डबल पिवट खिलाना पड़ेगा. काय हैवर्ट्स एट 9 एंड विंगर्स पे डिपेंड्स. साका तो हो गई, अब देखना है कि मार्टिनेली होता है या नहीं होता है. बिकॉज अगर मार्टिनेली होता है तो दैट्स गुड.
आई थिंक
बिकॉज
ट्रोसार्ड शुड स्टार्ट प्रोबब्ली आई एम अस्यूमिंग देन
इफ पता नहीं अंकित भाई, लेफ्ट विंग पे बहुत मसला ये है कि या तो ट्रोसार्ड स्टार्ट करेगा या हेसूस भी कर सकता है. बिकॉज लास्ट टाइम वी प्लेड सिटी, वी वर विदाउट साका एंड हेसूस प्लेड ऑन द विंग्स एंड ही वाज रियली रियली गुड. राइट विंग खेला था वो.
Jesus is actually not a bad option to be very honest क्योंकि
या
आप देख सकते हो the work rate में Jesus और Havertz basically could give you that so all of a sudden you have people getting the space in behind और I think वो एक element of surprise हो सकता है. Remember guys again हमने injuries की इतनी बात क्यों की है because of the fact that in case say for example a Diaz is not starting or maybe an Akanji is not starting then you can expect an Aki to start in center back which makes all of a sudden left back थोड़ा सा vulnerable as much as Guardiola is a fantastic signing. Let's be real, Guardiola first of all he's been in and out because of injuries. Secondly, you know he's not had a great season, so confidence big cheese hoti hai. I think on the wings, like we were speaking, that although Arsenal play with say 4 centre backs, Ben White has right up been there. Plus, uska jo break hua hai, it helps him to kind of bomb on. So in terms of tactics, Daksh, मतलब could it be a very strange thing where at the Etihad you're expecting Arsenal to have a little bit more possession? मतलब how many times have we actually even thought about this for the last few years? That's what is Arteta
या
का progression as a manager, nahi?
that's what I would say. I think the biggest change is that for the first time in years, Ankit bhai, like we don't, I'm not going into this game expecting to be completely blasted out. बहुत पिटाई होने वाली, of course हो सकती है, it's football, anything can happen on any day. But just before the game, there is thoda bahut confidence in the sense that maybe we can match these guys up. Of course, I don't expect us to beat them 4-0, 5-0, 3-0, whatever. एक क्लोज गेम होगा एंड मेरे को इतना कॉन्फिडेंस है कि हम इस गेम में कुछ ना कुछ कर सकते हैं. इस टीम में इतनी एबिलिटी है कि हम कुछ ना कुछ कर सकते हैं. एंड थैंकफुली थैंकफुली एक ऐसे टाइम पे आ रहा है जब हमारे सारे प्लेयर्स ऑलमोस्ट अब वापस आ गए. ऑफ कोर्स मार्टिनेली विल बी द बिगेस्ट डाउट, बट पार्टे कमिंग बैक, Tomiyasu coming back are two huge additions to this depleted squad. Zinchenko will be fit again. तो एक एक टाइम पे मतलब पिछले 10 हफ्तों से हम सिर्फ लास्ट हमारे दिस वाज आवर लास्ट बैक फोर. आफ्टर दिस वी हैड पीपल लाइक रूएल वॉल्टर्स, मतलब पूरे एकेडमी वाले बंदे थे. इसके बाद तो कुछ भी नहीं था. So I think we can get something here. About possession, I don't know. I think our approach will be to neutralize Man City, and Pep's approach will be to dominate us as much as possible. He will try to create individual 1v1 battles जहाँ पे उसकी superiority है. So it will be Haaland versus the center forwards, KDB in the midfield creating havoc. अगर डोकू खेलेगा तो then डोकू versus our wingers because Ben White struggles with pace a lot and trickery. Rashford हमेशा गोल मारता है Ben White के against, हमेशा, because Ben White can't deal with tricky pacey technical wingers. He can deal with लोग जो straight line में भाग के pass and move करेंगे. Ben White is great at that. But ये जो tricky वाले होते हैं, जो technically gifted होते हैं, Ben White struggles against them. सेम विद अगर लेफ्ट बैक पे हमें लगता है कि टोमियासू इज नॉट फिट, ऑल्दो आई थिंक टोमियासू विल बी फिट, आई थिंक ही विल बी द वन दैट स्टार्ट्स. ये देखना पड़ेगा हमें कि उनके जो राइट विंगर्स पे जो भी
अच्छा,
खेले,
तो
चाहे बर्नार्डो खेले,
टोमियासू टू स्टार्ट एक्चुअली,
सॉरी,
यू आर एक्सपेक्टिंग टोमियासू टू स्टार्ट?
या,
वाओ, दैट्स इंटरेस्टिंग गाइस. मैं सोचा केवीआर इज नो ब्रेनर डिस्पाइट द 120 मिनट्स इन
no, no, no,
इंटरनेशनल.
no, no. Kivior is a makeshift left back. He has been good. He is not the answer. This is like playing Colwell at left back. Uh, Good in some games, but you cannot go into the biggest game of the season with somebody who's not actually a left back. You will have to go with somebody like Tomiyasu. He has been rested for months now. He has recovered from his injury. He is bipedal. वो दोनों पैरों से अच्छे से defend कर सकता है. He goes forward. He can invert. He can play center back. He's tall. He can be important at set piece defending as well. Kivior, I'll be very shocked if he starts. Um, but no, I think it's a game for Tomiyasu. It will be a double pivot game as well. I will definitely not be surprised if in this double pivot instead of Jorginho and Rice, we start with Partey and Rice
जी,
because we
बिल्कुल.
need physicality in that midfield.
आई थिंक यहाँ पर मैं स्टार करके रखा भी था गाइज. बाय द वे, पीपल इन द चैट आर वंडरिंग भाई हम ले नहीं लिए. आई एम हाईलाइटिंग द चैट व्हिच इज एप्लीकेबल टू एग्जैक्टली व्हाट वी आर डिस्कसिंग अबाउट.
Mm.
ऑफ कोर्स यहाँ पर कुछ कमेंट्स में स्टार भी कर रहा हूँ. अदरवाइज यू नो व्हाट द ड्रिल इज, यू कैन ऑलवेज काइंड ऑफ गो अदर वेज टू काइंड ऑफ गिव यू शाउट आउट, नॉट जस्ट दैट, इवन रीड द कमेंट, वो हम कर सकते हैं. लेकिन मैं काफी लोग स्पेशली द मॉड्स को देख रहा हूँ इन द चैट व्हाइल वी कंटिन्यू कॉन्वर्सेशन. भाई सब लोग यहाँ पर जो भी है ना, सबसे पहले देखिए यार, ऑलमाइटी ब्लूज है, ये चीज मैं डिस्क्लेमर दे रहा हूँ. आई डोंट नो व्हाई आई स्टिल गिव इट. दक्ष, 3 साल हो गए भाई हम लोग चैनल रन कर रहे हैं. Almighty Blues FC is basically a fan channel for all to see. That is our caption. So it is
Yes.
not just for the sake of saying, ठीक है. So when everyone sees and आप लोग देख रहे हो, आपको अच्छा लग रहा है, तो अच्छा लगा तो लाइक बटन दबा दो. लेकिन नॉट जस्ट दैट, कंसिडर सब्सक्राइबिंग गाइस, क्योंकि इट्स नॉट जस्ट चेल्सी कंटेंट व्हिच इज ऑब्वियसली माय सॉफ्ट स्पॉट, बिग सॉफ्ट स्पॉट, मोर देन दैट, apart from Milan. लेकिन we cover all the teams यार. Indian team, Milan and Chelsea are my soft spots, but we cover all the teams content यार, end to end, be it UCL, be it Euros, be it international football, World Cups and whatnot. थोड़ा सा plug in कर रहा हूँ guys. Again,
Mm.
आप OMI series देख सकते हो. Daksh has been there, and those are like things which I'm sure if you're disappointed,
Mm.
I'll change my name. I know that's how I'm saying. So guys, consider subscribing, not just to me, more importantly to my panel. Anyone who's from Almighty Blues, consider doing that to A for Arsenal, because at the end of the day, we all love our clubs, right? And that's
Of
what we
course,
need
of
to
course.
respect the other person. But as content creators, we try and as EPL football lovers, as UCL football lovers, we try and cover all content as much as
Yes.
possible. And yes, we are literally like 50 away from 12K, I believe so, and
Let's
hopefully आप
go.
लोग congrats
Come
करो
on.
जल्दी से.
Mm.
तो यहाँ पर while continuing the conversation of that tactics and in terms of lineups, आपने एक point बोला था दक्ष about जो proper tricky wingers होते हैं, and that's something that Ben White is not really the best at, one can argue, but same thing could be said. I know Grealish might be back. There is news for this particular
Oh,
game as a
really?
starter.
Wow.
अभी भी मैं पढ़ रहा हूँ. लेकिन considering Ben White का थोड़ा सा issue है, और Grealish has not been so consistent in terms of fit this season, so maybe they'll just go with Doku as a start and Grealish comes off the bench. But Doku, don't you think, मतलब एक हाइप एक चीज होती है, and I'll come to a certain player, Manchester United fans look away. I'll talk about, I have a topic to discuss particularly on that. लेकिन यहाँ पर I know stats, I'm not a man of stats यार दक्ष, you know that absolutely.
Mm.
लेकिन डोकू आप देखो तो he has been pocketed by literally 3-4 right backs. एक हमें लगा था भाई रीस जेम्स एंड गुस्तो डिड अ वर्ल्ड क्लास जॉब, बट ही वाज डन द सेम थिंग in the next big matches as well. Not
Mm.
pocketed, chalo harsh rahega, but I know
Mm.
that Bernardo Silva had to kind of help him in a couple of big matches to kind of just get the better of the right backs.
Mm.
What do you think about this? Like, our Man City kahin na kahin, I know Palmer to hame de diya and that was Palmer's decision, but on Man City, the same Man City, because before Mahrez etc used to be there, have they kind of downgraded? I know controversial question, but have they downgraded really?
It takes time. Like, I remember there was a Pep press conference earlier in the season where they talked about Doku specifically, and they said ki he wants Doku to play on the right wing. He wants Doku to be a right winger, but Doku is much more comfortable on the left winger where he can cut inside, dribble, and then
Certain.
shoot. He wants that Mahrez replacement from Doku, and he wants it on that right wing. But अभी उसके पास वो confidence नहीं, eventually आ जाएगा. He wanted Grealish on the left, somebody who can hold the ball from that left, and somebody like Doku on the right who can do the Mahrez वाला business. अभी इस season तो नहीं हुआ है. I think the Mudrik wala graph you showed me, I think big reason for that is the price. Um, क्या क्या मतलब प्रेस मिली थी उस ट्रांसफर विंडो को बिकॉज आर्सेनल वर ऑन द वर्ज ऑफ कंप्लीटिंग हिज साइनिंग. देन चेल्सी ने लास्ट मोमेंट पे आके साइन कर लिया. उसका फर्स्ट गेम लिवरपूल के अगेंस्ट उसने अच्छे से डैजल करके करा कि ओ डैम मतलब आई एम हियर, बट उसके बाद नहीं हुआ. बट यू लुक एट डोकू. डोकू पे वो प्राइस प्रेशर नहीं है, ऑल्दो ही इज अ वेरी एक्सपेंसिव प्लेयर. कैन यू गेस हाउ मच ही कॉस्ट मैन सिटी?
कितना था डोकू मुझे याद नहीं यार. आई थिंक इट वाज व्हाट 50 million होगा.
Yeah, it's 55.4
या
million.
50 समथिंग था.
Is-
आई रिमेंबर
Yeah,
कवरिंग इट द
and a
ट्रांसफर
lot of
मार्केट.
people don't really think about it कि like, oh, he is a 50 million player. अब 50 million लगता है अच्छा चलो 50 million ही तो है.
आई रिमेंबर जो बवाल मचा था टॉरेस जब आया था 50 million में.
My
शेवचेंको
God.
वी मेड those crazy transfers.
I, वो छोड़ो, I remember when Andy Carroll moved to Liverpool for 35 million or whatever, everyone was like,
Became a huge thing. Yeah.
35
उनका दो आया
million?
था ना साथ में लुइस सुआरेज एंड एंडी कैरल.
Yeah,
एट दैट टाइम सुआरेज वाज वेरी यंग. सुआरेज कमिंग फ्रॉम Ajax. I
yeah.
remember that very well. Absolutely, yes.
It's
Good point.
crazy now. Now 50-ish million. एक बार मेरे को कंफर्म करने दो, बट ब्रेनन जॉनसन
Yeah,
इसकी
we were
फीस.
also going for it. We were also going for Brennan Johnson, I remember.
Brennan Johnson is around 47 million pounds. We bought Ozil for 42.5. So you can see where the where the market has really gone. And वही बात है. 50 million is now, it now looks like chump change. So that is why probably Doku does not warrant इतना ज़्यादा pressure. आपको याद होगा he played a game where he had 4 assists or something like that.
Yeah,
4 assists or
initially
something.
मतलब वही है कि वो मैं बोल इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ ना इनिशियल हाइप जो था ना. आई थिंक
I think
कहीं
it
ना
it
कहीं इट इज
it
गुड फॉर द
really
प्लेयर एज वेल.
really is important कि आप start कैसे करते हो, because your
हाँ.
first impressions are a huge factor in how you're perceived for the rest of the time. Like I remember, I think Rasmus Højlund की एक redeeming quality उसके start of the Man United career में ये थी that he was consistently scoring in the Champions League. अगर वो उधर नहीं करता तो उसका सारा वूट वेगहॉर्स्ट वाला हो जाता कि यार तो हमने एक और वूट वेगहॉर्स्ट ले लिया. इट्स द सेम विद मीशा एज वेल यार. ही took so long, मतलब he took his a normal amount of time to adapt, but 007 memes. Finally he scored, but then it wasn't consistent, then he's not getting the starts, then वो price वाला आ जाता है.
देखो दक्ष, आई विल बी ऑनेस्ट. आई डोंट मतलब आई नो मेरे चेल्सी फैन है और विल डिसएग्री विद मी. आई डोंट सी हिम एज अ स्टार्टर वीक इन वीक आउट येट. आई डोंट थिंक इज देयर
Really?
येट. Yeah.
I think it's also from the fact that you come from a time where the standards of a Chelsea starter were much higher
करेक्ट.
right now.
लेकिन उसका कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल इज ऑल्सो थिंग एंड इज बिल्डिंग. एंड आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि पॉच इज राइट. आई टोटली डिसएग्री विद पॉच एज वेल. कहीं ना कहीं वो मिडवे ग्राउंड जो होता है ना, दैट इज समथिंग दैट वी नीड टू फाइंड. डोकू ऑन द अदर हैंड बोलते हैं ना, आती बेसिकली ही वाज जस्ट पुट इन एंड देन
Hmm.
ग्रिलिश के इंजरीज एटसेट्रा हैपेंड एंड दैट इज वेयर ही वाज काइंड ऑफ और प्रेशर जो नहीं था बिकॉज ऑफ द हाइप became
Yeah.
even more. क्योंकि with all due respect मतलब I remember when Doku came to Man City, we were like okay भाई ये भी player था. And we all remember Euro 2020 यार. मतलब we covered on a channel our first live series I remember. उसमें Doku was the one और scouting for Chelsea हम एक series करते थे. उसमें
Right.
Doku वैसे basically एक बंदा था जो lot of clubs were looking at. But
Mm-hmm.
over the years somewhere down the line he has been forgotten. अभी वापस आया. But in such a game against Arsenal,
Mm-hmm.
generally मैं ऐसे बोल रहा हूँ ना, Man City versus Arsenal in recent times along with Man City Liverpool, with all due respect, have been those matches जहाँ पर close contest रहे काफी, right?
Right.
वहाँ पर those difference makers is what you need, and Doku on paper is the difference maker. लेकिन in terms of ability, मतलब मेरा personal opinion, they've मतलब arguably downgraded, and on the other hand Arsenal have definitely upgraded. It's a bit of transfer market वाला strategy भी, और जैसे आपने
Mm.
बोला it will take time. On the other hand, they could also go with a Foden for all we know on the left wing. मतलब that could happen if Bernardo Silva is
Yeah.
totally fit, तो दोनों खेल सकते हैं. मतलब
Mm.
that is the best part about Man City, नहीं?
Yeah. I for one, I think it reminds me of this Arsene Wenger quote where he was asked once that why do you keep playing Theo Walcott? He's a 17-year-old. You have much more experience. You can just go into the transfer market. Why don't you buy players in the transfer market? You're constantly finishing fourth. And he said for Theo Walcott that I give opportunities for young players because he might make mistakes. He might cost me 6 points. But at the end of the season, when I consistently play him, I will have a player with a lot more experience, mentality, and skill than if I buy a 30-year-old who's already achieved. Yes, he might get me 6 other points, but what is really the point of having him in what is the long-term vision with that player for 3-4 years? And I think wohi hai. With Mudrik, I agree with you that he might not be at the level of a starter right now. But You know, if Mudrik made the mistakes that Sterling made, you would still be a lot more encouraged than what Sterling does. With Sterling,
Three
you know
targets.
his quality. You know what the peak of Sterling is. Even if he has an out of mind season, मैं कह दूं, मतलब बहुत ही बढ़िया season हो जाता है. You know what the peak of Sterling will be. With Mudrik na, it's always going to be up, and a great season will be a nice baseline for him to set himself up. तो मेरे को वही लगता है कि like young players की mistakes करने पे fans भी ज़्यादा forgiving होते हैं. क्योंकि एक experienced कैंपेनर से यू एक्सपेक्ट कि भाई तू तो फ्लॉलेस होना चाहिए भाई. जब
Hmm.
यंग लड़का करता है ना मिस्टेक्स, लाइक थिंक द फैंस हैव बीन इनक्रेडिबल विद काइसेडो एंड एंजो as a double pivot, because Enzo ki, let's say Enzo sometimes leaves Caicedo alone in that midfield completely.
Right.
And then Caicedo gets overrun and then वो ball lose कर देते हैं, and of course फिर वो clips बन जाते हैं of Caicedo being tackled off the ball, whatever it is. But you're so forgiving of Caicedo because you realize he's a young player, he's what, 22, whatever.
See,
And
मतलब that is the thing ना, वहीं पर क्योंकि we are talking about Man City Arsenal. I think that's a good example because Kai Havertz, मतलब again people know my association with Kai Havertz कहीं
mm,
ना कहीं, will not go into details, but the reality being that वो जो एक first couple of months that he got the buffer from say not everyone but a lot of Arsenal fans and मतलब at least Arteta,
mm,
and that is kind of आपके रिजल्ट आ रहे हैं, आप दिख रहे क्लियरली. लेकिन in the long run, do you see him as what is his best position? Let me ask you. You have said it. I think 8 on the left hand side is probably what you said last time जब मैंने पूछा था around
no,
तीन
no,
चार
मैंने कहा
महीने
था
पहले.
8 वो खेल सकता है. It will be
हाँ,
this floating second striker role as a 9.
floating
He
second
will
striker.
start as
So
a 9.
like a number 10 almost,
Yeah,
for
yeah. It's
9
going
या
to
number
be,
10.
yeah. There is this. I was just reading this very nice article by the Athletic. This position's called the, well, it's called the 8.5,
8 and a
which
half.
is
अरे भाई, टुकल का फेमस
yeah.
कोट याद आ गया. बिल्कुल
So,
बिल्कुल.
so the 8.5 is basically a number 8 who basically functions as a 10 and a 9. He can do anything. He has that freedom to go forward. And I think that's what Kai Havertz will do. And I still think this is not Kai Havertz's finished position. I think he will eventually, if we get somebody like an Osimhen, if we are in for that kind of
See,
player.
that is the thing. मैं आ रहा हूँ. I know we are talking about the game, लेकिन
Yeah.
pretty sure यहाँ पर it's going to become April 1st in 2 days, guys. Happy April Fool's Day in advance again. लेकिन pretty sure यहाँ पर this summer is going to be huge in terms of strikers, भाई. मतलब the
Hmm.
demand and the supply both are there. It's going to be huge, especially जब यूरोज भी है आपके, कोपा अमेरिका भी है, those kind of things ना, और भी प्राइस बढ़ेगा ही, कम नहीं होगा. So the sooner the club does a deal, it's better for them, right? So in terms of fitment, like if you see Ivan Toney, you would argue it may be a no-brainer to a London club, but again,
Hmm.
baggage
We
है.
are not. We are not for him, unfortunately.
Correct? Right. Victor Osimhen, again, great last season. In fact, I would totally disagree with people saying that भाई वो एक proper target man है. He probably suits Chelsea more than Arsenal. No यार, last season आपने Napoli को देखा तो kind of football they played और उसका involvement was fantastic. I know he's not been that player, but so has been Napoli. So it's unfair to judge him right now. And come on, you're not judging him on the national team. With all due respect, उनका national team में इतने
Hmm.
सारे players नहीं है जो maybe Arsenal are probably building towards, right?
Yeah.
So Victor Osimhen seems like the best fit from this, or Isaac is one. I would put in one more name, Ollie Watkins. Don't you think so?
I like Ollie Watkins. He is
लेकिन Gabriel
somebody.
Jesus type है थोड़ा सा नहीं, in a strange way.
No, the thing with Ollie Watkins is he is right now at the peak, and I know what we're going to get with him.
Hmm.
It's just I feel it's going to be too expensive a transfer. I think getting him from Villa. Look, all these strikers, चाहे आप Gyökeres लो, चाहे आप Isak लो, चाहे आप Osimhen लो, चाहे आप Watkins लो, all of these are going to cost around 80 to 100 million. No brainer. That is it. And so you kind of have to see what you want. Or Watkins can assist, can score. He's relatively injury free. He's Premier League proven. All these points are fantastic for him. The thing is, आपके ग्योकेरेस, आपके ओसिमन, आपके ईसाक, आपके चलो ईसाक उतना भी नहीं, बट whatever strikers जो उस लिस्ट में थे, some of them are very very young, and you can, there's a huge possibility of recouping some sort of money if you do eventually sell them on to another club. So financially, it also makes sense to go for a younger person and gamble a bit on experience, because if you think about it, if we keep Jesus, if we keep Havertz, if we get this new striker, and let's say it's a Gyökeres, chalo, who's not used to the Premier League, you can still bed him in आपके पास हैं इतने स्ट्राइकर्स कि आप अफोर्ड कर सकते हो कि ये बंदा आपको लाइन लीड नहीं करना. ऑफ कोर्स वी वुड ऑल लव फॉर दिस न्यू गाय टू कम इन एंड लीड द लाइन एंड स्कोर 20, 30, 40 goals for Arsenal, but you have enough cushion in having other number nines who can slowly you can help him integrate into the team. तो वही
Right.
है. नाइन का उतना मेरे को जेपेडी नहीं. आई ट्रस्ट द मैनेजमेंट इज दैट मच. आई थिंक द पोजीशन वी नीड टू target is a midfielder and a winger because Jorginho is not getting younger. We will anyways lose El Neni and Partey in a matter of 2 years for sure. Um,
Interesting.
so a midfielder is what we need and a winger is what we need. Ek of
भाई
course.
थॉमस पार्टे, डेक्लन राइस, ओडेगार्ड, देन मतलब 8 Kai Havertz could play there, Trossard could play as an 8 as well. मतलब I know Elneny are not counting on anymore, and same thing I was saying about Jorginho. ठीक है, लेकिन फिर भी I think 5 potential people fighting for the starting spot with potential.
Yeah.
एक तो youngster आप प्रमोट करोगे नहीं?
मेरे हिसाब से राइट नाउ अंकित भाई द
लोकोंगा
मार्जिनल.
वापस नहीं आ रहा क्या, by the way?
I think we'll sell him. I think we'll sell him. I think we'll sell Smith Rowe. I think Vieira is the only one we're going to stick with. I think El Neni is going to leave at the end of the season. I think Jorginho will give him a 1 year extension or 1+1. He's happy with that role where he can come in and play for whatever time he gets. He's happy. पहले था वो Napoli चले जाएगा सारी के पास. Now Napoli is also now he's also leaving Napoli. Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
Lazio. He's
Lazio.
also leaving
But
Lazio.
and I know there were rumors कि he'll go back to Napoli, but he's probably not going back to Napoli, so it'll be
Yeah.
interesting वो. But देखो मेरा एक point again, Jorginho वाला same चीज, मतलब your associations are there. So एक quick मेरा 2 cents है कि देखो Jorginho was never a player who depended on pace, and he is not going to be, and that is why मैं regret कर रहा हूँ. मैंने openly मैंने public forum में बोला भाई, I do regret, and people were like really bro, मतलब आप ऐसे ही, I know he had a fantastic year which is an outstanding year जो he punched above his weight, आप ऐसे ही टॉप 3 बैलन d'Or में नहीं आ जाते. मतलब आई नो बैलन d'Or इज रिग्ड, लेकिन उस साल मतलब आई जेन्युइनली बिलीव ही डिजर्व टू बी देयर, एंड यू कैन नॉट आर्ग्यू अगेंस्ट दैट का, वो अलग
Yeah.
से स्ट्रीम कर सकते हैं. तो द गाय फॉर यूरोप अब इस सीजन में देयर इज नो कोइंसिडेंस दैट इन बिग मैचेस he has got the calm that Arsenal need, and that's the change. And for me,
100%.
like leaders like him who are also kind of bringing calm to the pitch as well as dressing room, और आप देखो तो even as a personality he has a personality. मतलब the guy is मतलब he's so fun loving. You guys don't know, मतलब Jorginho is so fun loving and he is loved by everyone. तो
Yeah.
such a guy मेरे लिए I think you should still count on him and kind of
Yeah,
get
yeah.
those extensions
I
done.
think he'll be a part of the squad. Like,
Hmm.
बताओ क्या है अंकित भाई. जैसे मैंने बोला एल्नेनी end of contract. Jorginho, age doesn't really matter. He has experience. जैसे आपने बोला, he will be a part of the squad, a part of the team rather. Partey, very injury prone. मतलब अब इतने साल हो गए. He's played on less than 50% of the games for Arsenal. जब खेला है बढ़िया खेला है, but what can we do if you're not available for half the season, right? So even if he gets a contract extension, जैसे हमने टॉमी के साथ सिर्फ 2 साल का extension किया है. Partey
Right.
will also get, if we extend him, he'll only be 1 year.
Yeah.
Uh, so,
Makes
and
sense.
again, you can't rely on him anyways. He's also not getting any younger. If he can go to Saudi, great for him. If he can go to Juve, great for him. We will move him on. Like the first priority will be to sell him, not to extend him.
Got it.
Jorginho का is more extending than selling.
Extending.
Partey
Got
का
it.
is more selling than extending. Extend दोनों भी हो सकते हैं, ठीक है?
One
But
of the two is kind of आप देख रहे हो कि यार it's ऐसे नहीं कि indispensable है, and that is why
yeah,
basically you're looking at it कि यार नहीं मतलब we ideally need cover for that as well. क्योंकि देखो Declan Rice, as much as भाई मतलब having seen him back in the academy days थोड़ा बहुत, I know that the guy always like to play football. मतलब आपने उसको CDM बना दिया था, लेकिन आर्टेटा ने उसको मतलब kind of वो किया है एकदम launch,
yeah,
क्योंकि this guy is having more to it. So, and people like Jorginho and Thomas Partey could get him to click to the next level.
yeah.
And हम वही बोल रहे हैं ना, even in the Man City match for instance, हम tactically बता रहे थे ना Daksh, that आपके work rate with Gabriel Jesus and Havertz might be a little bit dynamic, so they might be roaming more. So for all
Yeah.
we know, if say for example, if you play like a second DM with Odegaard and Rice being there, one of them two can get in the space in behind in front of the striker.
If
That
you
could be
watch
your
his
hitting
England
ability.
interviews, yeah, if you watch his England interview, जब उसने captain वाली press conference करी थी, and they asked him about the different role he has to play, he says, "I prefer number 6. I've always been a 6 for most of my career. At 8, it's a very different role, something I cherish because I end up being the furthest man forward, and he has been like उसने goals and चलो अब वो assists भी कर रहा है because of his set piece taking and all that stuff, but he's scoring goals as well and very important goals. Scored a banger against West Ham, scored an important goal against Man United. scored an important goal against Luton. So he is scoring, he is assisting, he is doing everything we want as a number 8. If we replace Partey with कैसे कुछ लोगों ने कहा है जैसे सतविंदर कह रहे हैं ओनाना लाओ, वी नीड दैट फिजिकल 6/8 पर्सन. हमें हमारी टीम अब री इन्वेंट होके फ्रॉम दैट टेक्निकल जैसे सैंटी कजोला रैमजी कजोल ये सब होते थे, वी आर मूविंग पास्ट दिस एंड नाउ वी आर गेटिंग फिजिकलिटी इनटू इट. अब हमारे डिफेंडर्स देखो, दे नॉट 5'11" वाले प्लेयर्स, they're all 6 feet plus. हमारे midfielders are all 6 feet plus minus Odegaard. हमारा स्ट्राइकर काय हावर्ट जब खेलता है, he is tall as well. We are
हाउ
moving
टाइम्स
towards
हैव चेंज्ड दक्ष. ये चीज हम
yeah,
बोलते थे मूरिन्यो के अंडर चेल्सी के
yeah,
बारे में, नो
yeah.
दैट्स हाउ,
And
एंड वेंगर
this
का
is
इफ देयर वाज अ क्रिटिसिज्म दैट वाज हिज क्रिटिसिज्म देन.
yes that you don't have technical players. And I think Arteta की बेस्ट बात यही है कि yes, people call him mini Pep, whatever, Pep's cone man, जो भी लोग कहते हैं, but he is also Moyes' son, and that's what I'm saying. He also has a lot of David Moyes in him. ये आपको याद होगा डेविड मॉयस का वन ऑफ द मोस्ट प्रोडक्टिव पीरियड्स केम व्हेन ही हैड अ टॉल फिजिकल फेलेनी विद हिम,
या
व्हेन ही हैड
एब्सोल्युटली
स्नाइडरलिन.
भाई.
इसके पास बहुत फिजिकल मॉन्स्टर्स होते थे, फिल जागी
वही.
एल्का वगैरह, ये बहुत लंबे मुस्टंडे टाइप्स होते थे जो लोग करते थे. ज़ेराटो कह रहे हैं ज़र्क्सी, यार देखो आई लव ज़र्क्सी एज अ पर्सन बट वी ऑलरेडी हैव अ हेसूस इन हिम. मेरे पास ऑलरेडी हेसूस है.
वही है, मतलब वॉटकिंस, ज़र्क्सी, हेसूस मेरे ख्याल से
Yeah,
उतना
yeah,
डिफेंडर
yeah.
नहीं है.
This is just not gonna happen. So for us, we need a physical 6/8 person. I think Onana is amazing for that. I think Zubi Mendy wala अब rumors ठंडे पड़ रहे हैं. So I don't think Zubi Mendy is going to happen. It's either going to be Bayern or Barca for him. Or you go for somebody young like वाइफर करके जो भी है फायरनॉर्ड का है. एंड
हाँ.
मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंटली वी नीड अ विंगर. वी कैन नॉट कीप प्लेइंग साका 38 games a season. He will break down. He will break down because he's playing in international matches, he's playing in club matches, he's managing an Achilles injury. आपको एक विंगर चाहिए. पहले मैं सोच रहा था नेटो आ जाए, बट नेटो इंजर होता रहता है.
मैं
आई
विंगर दूं
थिंक
वापस भाई. ब्रोजा मेरे पे नहीं जाने वाला गौरव टू आर्सेनल. आई नो चेल्सी आर्सेनल मतलब सरप्राइजिंगली आर डूइंग अ लॉट ऑफ बिजनेस अगेन, जो हुआ करता था स्ट्रेंजली इन मिड
आई
2000s
थिंक विल स्टिल डू
बड़े.
समथिंग. आई थिंक विल स्टिल डू
बट
समथिंग.
विंगर भाई, आप विंगर का नाम ले रहे हो भाई. आई डोंट नो, सर्टेन विंगर इज डूइंग ग्रेट इन द
कौन?
चैंपियनशिप.
द
हचिंसन,
चैंपियनशिप.
ओमारी हचिंसन भाई. ओमारी हचिंसन फ्रॉम
ओमारी,
आर्सेनल.
ओमारी,
यहाँ
ओमारी.
पर कनेक्शन है यार चेल्सी आर्सेनल का. इनकेटिया फ्रॉम ऑब्वियसली बीइंग द चेल्सी एकेडमी गाइस, यू नो ही इज
Yeah.
देयर इन आर्सेनल. Omari Hutchinson now in Chelsea. हम लोग तो शायद उसको will just cash in. Looks like it. I don't think he's going to you know play our first team football much. That's the reality. As much as I would like it, but jokes apart, I think let's come back to the focus of the Man City Arsenal. Tactics बात हो रही है, team news हो गई, सब चीज हो गई. अब आ जाता है भाई प्रेडिक्शन पर. आई थिंक लास्ट 10 में आई थिंक 2 बार जीते हैं बस आर्सेनल अगेंस्ट मैन सिटी, जब मैं पढ़ रहा था.
Last
एंड लास्ट
this
2 हैव बीन
season
गुड.
was the first time we beat
Correct,
them in
1-0,
9
right?
years.
1-0. Right. And that
9
was a
years.
great result. That was a
But
great result.
we've beaten them twice this season, so anything can happen, I guess.
Community
We beat
Shield,
them,
right? And before
yeah,
that,
Community Shield पे penalty
Community Shield.
shootout and 1-0 here. And
The
दोनों
third
team
time
हमने
lucky
उनके
City
against
fans in the house,
deflection goals
anyone?
मारे. हाँ?
Third time lucky for Man City. मतलब that's the thing. आप Man City के बारे में बोल रहे हो, third time lucky. Imagine how things have
वो
changed
तो.
in the last couple of years again. But
You did not go into these games with this sort of idea कि आप कुछ कर सकते हो. लिवरपूल एंड सिटी आती थी, मेरे को लग रहा था पिटाई होने वाली है, ये तो पीट देंगे, कुछ लकी मिरेकल होगा कि हम जीत जाएंगे. अभी भी sort of it will be borderline miracle if we win. Winning, I will be very very shocked. I am still unfortunately
you
Ankit
so
bhai.
you'll take a draw is what you're saying.
Oh yeah, not losing is important, but I have a feeling Ankit bhai will narrowly lose this one. I have a
Run
feeling.
in, I don't know. मतलब I know it's touch and go. Run
Hmm.
in title race में I see Arsenal having a slightly more run in. I don't know if you agree, क्योंकि Tottenham, Chelsea are on paper games तो है ही है, लेकिन you know the history also. वहाँ पर pretty sure as Spurs and Chelsea would not want Arsenal to kind of get there and
Oh yeah.
get the title,
Oh
right?
yeah. I was so happy when you managed to hold City to a draw. जीत रहे थे आप वो गेम इनफैक्ट until जब रॉड्री ने अपना वो कर दिया जलवा. But for me, yeah, we have a very tough run in. We play Spurs, we play United away, we play Villa. In the next 5 games, it's 3 home, 2 away. So I'm hoping, and one of those away is Man City.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it is a 4-win, 1 draw result. And I feel we'll lose against City. I think we'll narrowly lose against City.
Wow. लेट्स सी गाइस, मैं मेरा प्रिडिक्शन, आई फील, बाय द वे मैंने चेल्सी का प्रिडिक्शन जानबूझ के नहीं दिया था बिकॉज आई वाज इन वेरी बैड मूड कंसीडरिंग द इंजरीज, लेकिन आई डिड से विल विन इट, सो स्कोर लाइन प्रिडिक्शन नहीं मिली मेरे से। लेकिन इन टर्म्स ऑफ दिस वन, आई थिंक इट इज बेसिकली डेफिनेटली वन ऑफ द मोस्ट डिफिकल्ट टू कॉल। डिस्पाइट दैट मैं जा रहा हूँ विद द सिटी विक्ट्री, और
Yeah,
बिकॉज
they've
नैरो
not
वापस।
lost a game in what a Rodri has not lost a game at the Etihad in a calendar year, भाई मतलब
एग्जैक्टली, इट्स क्रेजी।
क्या
तो
क्या
और द फैक्ट, और पेप के गेम्स जो शुरू हो गए ना, आई नो वो है आपका मास्टर्स अप्रेंटिस एंड ऑल दैट, बट भाई मार्च एंड आ गया, मार्च एंड में आपको पता है क्या करती सिटी। और हाँ, अगर मिडवीक गेम होता, कमिंग मिडवीक में यूसीएल होता, देन इट वुड हैव बीन लिटिल बिट क्लोजर, क्योंकि ही कुड हैव चेंज्ड लिटिल बिट जस्ट अबाउट, यू नो,
हम्म,
इफ एट ऑल। लेकिन आई
yeah.
डोंट थिंक इन टर्म्स ऑफ प्रायोरिटीज लीग इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट देन द चैंपियंस लीग फॉर आर्सेनल। प्रीटी श्योर सिटी के लिए इट माइट बी द अदर वे अराउंड। इज दैट अ फेयर स्टेटमेंट, इफ एट ऑल दे हैव टू पिक?
I don't know. थिंक दोनों रास्ते काफ़ी मुश्किल हो गए हैं अंकित भाई। अगर हम दूसरे साइड ऑफ द ब्रैकेट पे होते ना इन द चैंपियंस लीग, लेट्स से इफ वी स्विच बारसा एंड अस, if we were playing PSG, which would have been a tricky fixture regardless, and then we had to play Atleti or Dortmund in the semis, I think we would be like, ठीक है, there is a good chance for us to be in the Champions League final. There is a road which sees यहाँ पे first you play Bayern Munich, and then you play the winner of City and Real Madrid. So it's not going to be easy. I am personally, I don't know about other Arsenal fans, but I think everyone who was a non-Arsenal fan expected Arsenal की minimum आपको quarters में तो पहुंचना चाहिए, आप 7 साल बाद पहुंचो, quarters should be the target at least. I think we've achieved that target at least. I still think against Bayern there is a possibility we can go through, बट मेरा उस पे भी फोकस है नहीं, मेरा इस पे ही सिटी वाली गेम पे है। लाइक आई सेड, anything which is a not lose is great for us. Unfortunately, because of City's dominance at the Etihad, because the players they have, because the manager they have, I think they will win this one.
सेकेंड हाफ में दे आर लाइक क्रेजीली स्ट्रांग यार, मतलब वी बीन देयर। अगर ब्लूप्रिंट चाहिए
सेकंड हाफ
दक्ष,
की बात
अवेलेबल
नहीं
भाई,
अंकित
चेल्सी
भाई,
के
they've not
स्टैम्फोर्ड
lost a
ब्रिज में
game
अवेलेबल है,
since.
जस्ट सो यू नो, इफ यू नीड अ ब्लूप्रिंट हाउ टू स्टॉप सिटी। आई नो
हाँ, नो
आर्सेनल
ऑफ कोर्स यार, यू हैव
वन
टू बी
पीएम बट
कम्बैटिव इन द मिडल यार, वो ही करना पड़ेगा आपको रोकने के लिए। फॉर मी, लुक, they've not lost a game. It's not even about City का अब ये रन शुरू हो जाएगा। City का रन ये दिसंबर से चल रहा है। They've not lost a game since December. विला के अगेंस्ट, इफ यू रिमेंबर इन द लीग द लास्ट टाइम दे लॉस्ट, जब विला ने आर्सेनल एंड सिटी दोनों को हरा दिया था, उसके बाद से देव नॉट लॉस्ट अ गेम। देव ड्रॉन गेम्स, देव ड्रॉप पॉइंट्स, बट दे हैव नेवर एवर एवर, मतलब ये तो 2-3 महीने की बात हो गई है। लेट्स नॉट प्रिटेंड सिटी आर नॉट ऑलरेडी ऑन अ रन, सो इट विल बी अ टफ गेम। I would say, Ankit bhai, it's going to be 2-1 to City. I think Foden, I think Foden will be on
अगेन,
great
मतलब आई
good
थिंक
form.
Foden and Rodri, I think as much as Haaland and KDB is obviously, like I think
Yeah.
Foden and Rodri, if they have a good game, it's City's game to lose. Like, we
I-
all know that fact.
If KDB is
So,
fully fit and he starts, I think KDB and Foden will score. I think for
hmm,
us, Odegaard will score. Odegaard or
interesting.
Saka.
Okay,
So,
guys, again,
if it's a
big up
draw,
to all.
happy, super happy with the draw. Of course,
Yeah,
Liverpool
we'll
fans
take a
will be
draw.
the
Lekin
happiest.
Liverpool, obviously, this time they want a draw. These bar tables have turned.
They want to gain
Uh,
points on both. But I think if we lose this game now, I don't think we win the title at all. I think if we
wow.
lose this, it's gone. We have a very tough run in. We also have the Champions League to build. I would personally stop. मैं इनफैक्ट अभी भी टाइटल की होप नहीं कर रहा अंटिल गेम वीक 35 तक नहीं आएंगे। मैं तो टाइटल फेवरेट्स का टैग भी नहीं डालूंगा 35 गेम वीक तक। अगर हम टॉप पे
चालाक
हैं
bro,
तो मैं भी
चालाक।
लेता, बट अभी अभी हम रेस
भाई
में हैं।
दक्ष, इस बार हो यार, इस बार हो। लेट्स,
I'm still saying
लास्ट
we're
टाइम
race.
मैंने भी
We're
बोला
not
था, यू नो,
favorites. We're not. No way we're favorites, Ankit bhai. I'm saying we're in the race. No choice. Of course, we are in the race, but not favorites for sure. They
but
have
it's difficult to call an outright favorite anyway. मतलब all three are मतलब honestly, it's very difficult for me
okay, not a
as a
favorite, but
neutral.
I think both other teams have several advantages that we don't. City have that experience advantage. Not to mention the coach they also have.
और
Liverpool,
flop
of
factor.
course, with the coach, and also Europa League. And उसमें भी Europa League bracket उनका देखा है? They face Atlanta and then उसके बाद it's an easier bracket and वो setup हो गया for a Leverkusen final, whatever. So yeah, like Zerato said, it's a dark horse kind of thing. We are third favorites for a reason, and that's fine. I think City can lose this game and they can still go into the title and nobody will be surprised. If we lose this game and उसके बाद हम जीत जाते हैं, then everyone will be like, wow, मतलब ये क्या हो गया? Because like I said, no scene. I think we are in the race. I think we've done incredibly well. I think it's just going to be, can we hold our nerves this time? Last time तो बिखर गए थे हम लोग। हालैंड ने बाल खोल के गोल मारा था हमारे मुंह पे। इस टाइम आई एम अ लॉट मोर composed going into this game that we can do something. But वही है, for me, not lose is very important. Don't lose this game. Keep progressing and एक एक करके हो जाएगा सारा. One game at a time. We have some Luton games, but again, हमारा जो fixture है, हमारे North London derby में, for example, Spurs have 14 days of rest. I think they'll play Chelsea in the midweek during that time. But they have significant more rest. हमारा होगा after that Bayern का second leg. So it is what it is, यार. Anyways, I am just focusing on this game. Can we win this game? There is a slight possibility. Draw, I would love it. Loss looks most likely, unfortunately.
इंटरेस्टिंग. अच्छा, बायर्न का नाम ले लिए तो भाई विल कम बैक टू द प्रीमियर लीग इन जस्ट अबाउट अ कपल ऑफ मिनट्स बिकॉज देयर क्लासिकर भी है और कीपिंग एन आई विल बी ऑल आर्सेनल फैंस स्पेशली बिकॉज है बायर्न के अगेंस्ट नेक्स्ट एंड वी ऑल नो देयर इज इशू टू दैट फिक्सचर एज वेल. बायर्न अगेन जैसे हमने बोला यहाँ पर प्रायोरिटीज अबाउट सिटी, आर्सेनल, लिवरपूल. Pretty sure Bayern का priority is not the league right now as much as they would want to. मतलब क्या बोल सकते हो that they might actually try a little bit things new which they might use in the Champions League this time around. उनके भी काफी injuries हुई है. You know that Daksh, मैं तो publicly बोला you about Tuchel and other things, but first of all Dortmund is an unpredictable side. Again जो हम न्यूकासल के बारे में बोले थे, you can argue that is Dortmund this season as well. And this is a game जो कहीं ना कहीं last game people cannot forget, in terms of जहां पर Dortmund ने bottle किया अपना game and Bayern Munich won the title. Do you see that their Klassiker finally, going Dortmund side convincingly this time, considering Bayern का situation? नहीं नहीं ना, it's too.
Kane is back. He'll be okay. Kane खा जाएगा उनको.
मतलब is he fit enough to start? That's a big question because
the report came out 2 days ago. He's available for the next games.
For as a starter. अच्छा तब ठीक है. तब then I think it's probably. I think
Yeah.
वही था अगर option था कि yes.
Even Dortmund last season were much better, and I still think they couldn't beat them, right? Yeah, 4-2 and 4-0. Nine. So Bayern, they are hunting Leverkusen. They have to do what they can. I think they will be fine though. They would want to build as much momentum as possible before that Champions League game as well. And of course, ये वाला game जीतना तो उनके लिए बहुत important है. I think कर देंगे. It won't be that much of an issue. हाँ यार, jinx तो नहीं कर.
Bayern getting the form before meeting Arsenal, and Arsenal का you can argue. I know on paper दोनों की difficult fixture है, but again there's still 10 days left to it. So guys, जो भी लोग देख रहे हैं, a lot of mods, again big up to you all as well. भाई जो भी लोग देख रहे हैं, again I repeat, I don't need to plug in, saying it for the last 3 years and of course right now as well. Everyone here, at least OG तो channel would certainly agree that it's a fan channel for all to see. So अगर आप लोग subscribe नहीं करो, first of all I would love to know why. ठीक है, it doesn't cost a buck, and if you're not doing the same thing pay for Arsenal, we would love to know why. Because every subscription, every bell icon जो आप hit करते हो ना, you watch a video, it gives us some feedback in terms of comments, in terms of likes, etc. So bhai, do that, because without any feedback we don't know where to go. Okay, that's how it is as content creators. But at the end of the day, we are all football fans. I might be a Chelsea fan, a Milan, soft corner wala banda, as well as someone who loves Indian football. Abhi to khair dukh dak peeda hai. But still, we try and cover each and every content, and of course, masti mazak sab cheez hota hai bhai. Sab log check kariye content and then say same cheez jo Daksh karte hain apne channel. So let's get us to the next level, absolutely. And I'm shocked that from 1 hour 7 minutes there are constantly 150 people watching us, but there are 71 likes. So ये तो भाई कहीं ना कहीं नाइंसाफी हो रही भाई, हमारे साथ इतना नाइंसाफी मत करिए भाई. बिल्कुल यार, ये फॉर आर्सेनल को सब करिए, लेकिन साथ साथ में अगर आपका दिल बड़ा है तो ऑलमाइटी स्पोर्ट्स, ऑलमाइटी ब्लूज को भी करिए. एंड दक्ष शुड एग्री मोर देन एनीवन दैट वी डिजर्व मोर, एंड एज ऑफ कोर्स 100%. ठीक है, तो सब लोग एवरीवन लेट्स गेट देयर. लेकिन स्कोर प्रेडिक्शन सब लोग दे दिए, दक्ष ने दे दिया है. दक्ष हैज टू गो बिफोर दैट. दक्ष बायर्न म्यूनिख वाला भी आप बोल रहे हैं 5 minutes.
We can talk about the other games a bit quickly. मैं थोड़ा सा 5 मिनट पोस्टपोन कर देता हूं. That's okay.
कोई नहीं, थैंक्स अ लॉट फॉर दैट. लेकिन ऑफ कोर्स यहाँ पर लिवरपूल की थोड़ी बात करनी पड़ेगी. कांट अवॉइड गाइस, अवॉइड राइट नाउ, बिकॉज लेट्स बी रियल, मतलब दिस हैज टू बी. अगर लिवरपूल काइंड ऑफ गेट देयर, ऑफ कोर्स मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड बोलेगी भाई हम स्पॉइल कर दिए पार्टी, एटलीस्ट फॉर द टाइम बिंग. ठीक है, एंड इट वाज अ ग्रेट मैच, बाय माइंड यू, इट वाज फैंटास्टिक,
अमेजिंग,
अमेजिंग. तो बिग अप्स टू बोथ द टीम्स. लेकिन द क्लॉप फैक्टर, अब ब्राइटन है, अब लिवरपूल इन स्ट्रेंज वे ऐसे दिन आ गए. मैं बोल रहा लिवरपूल जीतनी चाहिए, उनका तो चलो आई डोंट राइट नाउ एज अ न्यूट्रल केयर, चलो ठीक है, अच्छी बात है, क्लॉप इज वन ऑफ माय गो टू मैनेजर्स एज वेल. लेकिन वी वांट ब्राइटन टू ड्रॉप ऑल 3 पॉइंट्स. रियलिटी भाई, कलयुग आ गया, क्या करें. तो
ब्राइटन से तो
ब्राइटन
आपका खास रिश्ता है ना, ये इसी घर में तो आपकी शादी हुई हुई है। यू गेट देयर
बिल्कुल
विन
भाई,
फैमिलीज,
बिल्कुल।
यू गेट देयर
मतलब क्या ही
प्लेयर्स,
बोलूँ।
यू गेट देयर स्काउट्स।
You know what? Chelsea Brighton are like those saas bahu na, who like on the face are great, but you know what exact story is. You want to be there. दोनों साथ में रहना ही है. Joint family वाले सास बहू है. Is what Chelsea Brighton are right now. But a Brighton के manager obviously deserve be getting linked left, right, center.
हुँ,
Not just Barca, Bayern की हम बात करते थे. यहाँ पर a certain journalist who links every manager with every club has said
लेटिगो,
that
हाँ।
ही इज द फर्स्ट चॉइस पॉसिबली फॉर बायर्न अगर अलोंसो जाता है लिवरपूल। सो यहाँ पर एक क्रेजी होने वाला डायनामिक्स इन समर। सो व्हाट डू यू थिंक अबाउट द एंटायर मैनेजर्स वाला जो होने वाला है इन द समर?
Yeah, there's too many managers, good managers available. I think if somebody wants to restart the project, this is the year to restart the project. Because अगली बार, look, there is Conte available. ठीक है, Tuchel will be available. चलो Klopp एक साल बाद आएगा, fair enough. Some clubs can wait it for one more year. De Zerbi is available. Flick is available. Nagelsmann might be available. This is the year if you want to restart your project or you want a new manager. This is the year to get it. कौन कहाँ जाएगा पता नहीं, बिकॉज लाइक यू सेड हर मीडिया में भाई मतलब मीडिया हर एक को हर एक से लिंक कर रही है. यू लुक एट अ न्यू डे एंड देयर इज अ न्यू मैनेजर बीइंग लिंक्ड टू योर क्लब. आई एम तो हैप्पी इसमें अंकित भाई. माय मैनेजर इज सेटल्ड. माय मैनेजर सेड आई एम नॉट गोइंग एनीवेयर. हमारी तो डायरेक्शन अच्छी है. सो बट फॉर मी डिजर्बी, I would prefer seeing him at Barcelona, but of course Barca fans want Nagelsmann because Nagelsmann अच्छा भी कर रहा है, जर्मनी भी अच्छा कर रही है. हाँ, सतविंदर कह रहे पॉटर इज ऑल्सो अवेलेबल, साउथगेट इज ऑल्सो अवेलेबल. हाँ भाई बिल्कुल. Shabi Alonso is available. So, there's a huge merry-go-round here. पता नहीं कौन कहाँ जाएगा यार. पता नहीं कौन कहाँ जाएगा. But it will be interesting यार. काफ़ी सारी teams में नए managers आएंगे इस team. Amorim is being linked to Liverpool. कुछ भी हो रहा है यार. कुछ भी हो रहा है. मज़े आएंगे. But my prediction for Liverpool, Ankit bhai, my prediction for Liverpool this season is, first of all, I think they're actual favorites, not City. But I think they will not lose a game at Anfield for the rest of the season. I think Anfield पे they will win all games at Anfield because last 10 games हैं प्रीमियर लीग की क्लॉप के साथ. ऑफ कोर्स सुपर इमोशनल होगा. उनका नया स्टैंड खुल गया है. कैपेसिटी अब 50 से 60 के आसपास होगी उनकी कैपेसिटी. ये नहीं हारने वाले एनफील्ड पे. इट विल बी, yeah, Anfield is going to be their fortress now. So if they do drop points, I hope it is away from home. I hope it is at Man United again. I hope it is at Everton. I hope it is at Villa. इन जगहों पे ही I honestly don't see Liverpool dropping too many points क्योंकि मेरे हिसाब से वो एनफील्ड पे सारे गेम्स जीत जाएंगे.
Wow, interesting that guys. Again, a lot of conversation around it. सब लोग chat में बोली भाई Liverpool versus Brighton what's going to happen. Pretty sure यहाँ पर हर एक टीम जीत रही है in terms of title race, so it's difficult to call. I would say Liverpool as well. I think easy win रहेगी because there's a lot of space in
Yeah,
them
yeah,
in
yeah.
Brighton games. Exactly. मुझे नहीं लगता defensively is great
Salah
enough.
is also back. अच्छे से
Yep.
fully fit. He is going to score. अच्छे से मार देंगे यार ये लोग. 4-1 to Liverpool.
चलो भाई you did that. तो guys everyone आप लोग भी बोलेगा for sure. Other than that I think Tottenham मतलब quick word on Tottenham before you go. Don't you think that all of a sudden Villa and Tottenham have given that थोड़ा सा space to Manchester United जिसकी हम बात करने वाले हैं after you go. लेकिन
Oh,
all of a
yeah.
sudden that fourth, fifth, sixth has become more interesting than we thought, नहीं?
Yeah. At a point of time, Villa were 3 points behind us. और ज़्यादा jeopardy थी कि आप थर्ड से अगर हार गए तो Villa आपकी प्लेस हड़प लेगी. In fact, Villa were table toppers at one point.
Right.
But yeah, they suddenly opened up a lot of space. Spurs lost, then Villa lost, and now Man United are 6 points behind. Uh, Tottenham and how much? 9 points behind Villa. I still think these are ये जो teams होंगी. Spurs will pip Villa to fourth and Villa will be fifth. I think United sixth पे ही रहेगी. But what an upturn by United. Huh? That FA Cup game will give them a lot of confidence. Kobe Meno getting his first international cap will give him a lot of confidence. I still think though, Spurs, I think because of the fact that they have a very coherent identity, now their injured players are coming back as well. I think Spurs fourth aa jayegi yaar. They're doing some really good work under Ange. Um, Werner का वो miss, I still can't believe it how Werner missed that chance from in front of goal.
That's
But
one for you.
Brennan, Son, Madison, ये सब हैं. And by the way, Spurs are playing all three uh, of City, Liverpool, and Arsenal. So if they do slip up in all three, it won't surprise me if they lose all three. यूनाइटेड के पास एक अच्छा दरवाजा खुल गया यार. दे कैन इजीली मेक अप दैट पॉइंट डिफरेंस विद स्पर्स.
On mute. So guys, everyone, आप लोग I don't know if you agree. I think Daksh has to go. So the big up to Daksh,
Yeah,
guys.
guys.
सब लोग जो भी यहाँ पर है, remember again, it's always a fan channel for all to see. We are going to continue for a few more minutes क्योंकि Manchester United fans रुकेगा थोड़ा. We have to predict that as well as a couple of the games from other leagues. Of course, my Serie A fan and me telling me there's an important game वहाँ पर भी. लेकिन Daksh, see you soon and all the best यार. You know इस बार तो भाई it's not like I don't mean it because for me it's almost like भाई तीनों में से कोई भी जीते तो थोड़ा सा यही लगता है. सिटी जीत जाती है तो
Wait,
लगता है भाई
Ankit bhai,
एक था.
I will share something with you.
हाँ
Okay,
हाँ.
let me just send it to myself and I'll share it on this and आप कर दो. भाई क्या club है Bayern Munich, man. Bayern Munich has collabed with with a celebrity you can never guess who. अगर किसी ने chat में without googling or instagramming
ओ
right
अच्छा
now
ये तो अपना इंडियन बंदा है ना.
uh, collabed with Kartik Aryan. Wait.
भूल भुलैया यार, भूल भुलैया एग्जैक्टली.
कार्तिक
दैट्स हाउ इट
वेयर
गोस
इज इट
मैन
आई कांट सी
समटाइम्स.
इट चलो एनीवेज अंकित भाई आई
चलो
लीव आपको पता था
सी यू
देन इट्स नॉट
दक्ष
फन
ओपी भाई. ए फॉर
चल
आर्सेनल को भी शाउट आउट भाई. एवरीवन डू चेक इट आउट एंड विल मीट सून. चलो
चलो
नाइस
सी यू
स्टफ.
सून अंकित भाई थैंक यू
People in the chat, आप लोग क्या बोल रहे हैं? Meanwhile, let's see. While Daksh leaves us for now, Spurs will lose. बोले Kenny Fan TV interesting. Luton के against है. Remember, Luton it's a do or die situation for them. They have to get points. लेकिन problem is the defense. जैसे हमने बोला Spurs का against a team which kind of goes for it like a Luton etc. They will win. जैसे हमने बोला था in fact Liverpool versus Brighton में. तो I can see only one side. Spurs जीतेगी. Quite convincingly, same Liverpool against Brighton, in my opinion. No shocks वहां पर आ रहे. But can Manchester United face a shock? आप बोलोगे कम ऑन यार अंकित. मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड फाइनली आप बोल रहे हो हैज गॉट अ फॉर्म. यू कैन ऑलमोस्ट आर्ग्यू जस्ट बिफोर द इंटरनेशनल ब्रेक आया था दैट गेम, अ क्रेजी गेम अगेंस्ट लिवरपूल. एक्स्ट्रा टाइम में भाई अमाद डियालो, बाय द वे अमाद डियालो ऑब्वियसली गॉट अ सेकंड येलो, सो ही विल बी सस्पेंडेड. मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड फैंस यू ऑल नो दैट. सो इस बार बेंच से तो नहीं आने वाला, वो पक्की बात है. लेकिन ब्रेंटफोर्ड है. ब्रेंटफोर्ड इज अ टीम व्हिच हैज बीन लूजिंग लास्ट 6 गेम्स में 5 बार हारे. Can anyone tell me which was the one game that they did not lose? Brentford. Which was the one game that Brentford did not lose in the last 6 games? You all know the answer. Unfortunately, is my own my own club Chelsea. थोड़ा दिख नहीं रहा तो, लेकिन we drew them and at home at the GTEC Community Stadium. It's not so easy. Thomas Frank. I know Daksh चला गया, but I know he's a fan of Thomas Frank. What could he do against Eric Ten Hag? उनके लेफ्ट बैक इज मिसिंग ऑब्वियसली. नेक्स्ट मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड लोनी, यू कैन आर्ग्यू दैट इज ऑफ कोर्स रेगुलॉन. जो स्पर्स की बात करते हैं, रेगुलॉन एट ब्रेंटफोर्ड अगेंस्ट बर्नली. आई बिलीव उसको रेड कार्ड मिला था, तो ही इज नॉट अवेलेबल फैंटेसी मैनेजर्स इन केस आप सोच रहे हो, क्योंकि ब्रेंटफोर्ड का वही एक आउटलेट है, वो भी मिसिंग इस बार. तो आप लोग बोलिए व्हाट डू यू ऑल थिंक अबाउट दैट. बट एनीवन इन द चैट हु काइंड ऑफ बिलीव दैट देयर हैज बीन अपसेट, आई बिलीव क्योंकि वो इंटरनेशनल ब्रेक डिड नॉट कम एट द एब्सोल्यूट राइट टाइम इन माय ओपिनियन. सो maybe just you can sense a case of that international break sometimes not favoring the team which has got a great result. I feel Brentford as desperate as say a Luton Town or a Burnley, or despite you not liking it, or Manchester United after the break है, I can see an upset draw, not a victory for Brentford, लेकिन मुझे लग रहा है draw होगा. आप लोग भी बोलिएगा in the chat सब लोग. Let me take a few chats in Okay, guys, sorry, I'm back. Oh my god, that was some tech glitch by internet issues. It's a one off, it's a one off. So, everyone here, I had to run, restart the modem, and run back. I hope it's fine now. I hope it's fine. Chalo, guys, जो भी लोग देख रहे हैं, again, thanks. Big up to the 60 people who just join in or watching still. सब लोग यूनाइटेड के गोल स्कोरर्स बोलिए. विक्रांत बोल रहे हैं यहाँ पर. हॉयलैंड, गर्नाचो, कैसेमिरो, आइवन टोनी. चलो 3-1. That's a good prediction, guys. लेकिन meanwhile, बाकी टीम्स में आई थिंक वी हैव डिस्कस मोर और लेस. एस्टन विला वुल्व्स विल बी एन इंटरेस्टिंग वन. अगेन यूनाइटेड, टॉटनहम वुड वांट एस्टन विला को ड्रॉप करे पॉइंट्स, बट चेल्सी चाहती है कि वुल्व्स ड्रॉप करे पॉइंट्स बिकॉज वी स्टिल हैव अ चांस टू गेट टू द टॉप 7. यू कैन टेल मी वहां पर का प्रेडिक्शन भी क्विकली एज मच एज वी हैव डिस्कस्ड अदर बिग गेम्स. ठीक है, तो क्विकली या पेड्रो नेटो, मथायस कुनिया, वैंग, अगर ये लोग सच में अभी तक आउट है, सो दैट्स नॉट गुड. बट जॉन मैगिन इज सस्पेंडेड. एट द सेम टाइम मैटी कैश अभी तक बाहर है, लुक्स लाइक इट. सो कहीं ना कहीं इट्स नॉट द स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट साइड ऑफ बोथ. बट एस्टन विला, लाइक आई सेड, राइट साइड में देखिए अभी फोर्थ है, बट जस्ट 3 पॉइंट साइड ऑफ टॉटनहम. रिमेंबर, टॉप 5 विल प्रॉब्ली क्वालिफाई फॉर द चैंपियंस लीग नेक्स्ट सीजन. और वहीं पर मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड को एक थोड़ा सा रे ऑफ होप मिल रहा है विद द लैक ऑफ फॉर्म ऑफ Aston Villa. So maybe वहां पर भी एक potential upset है, and I am calling this one a draw as well, similar to the Manchester United game. तो हो सकता है all of a sudden weekend में, क्योंकि West Ham are playing Newcastle, वहां पर they might both drop points. Brighton are playing Liverpool, वहां पर Brighton might drop points. Wolves are playing Aston Villa, वहां पर I can see both dropping points. Or of course Manchester United potentially having a banana skin after the international break. All of a sudden Tottenham might be the winners for this week in terms of the top 4 spot. But it's all the top spot that people are fighting for. You all know that, right? Lekin guys in the chat, big up to everyone. Baki लीग से बोलिए यार, La Liga maybe there are some big games. I believe Serie A में है, by the way. Serie A में definitely there's a big game. लेकिन La Liga में I believe Athletic Bilbao है away to Santiago Bernabeu. So that will be interesting for people. Do let me know, Real Madrid fans or La Liga fans generally. Barcelona take on Las Palmas. I think they should win them, beat them easily. I don't know, आप लोग बोल सकते हो. Fiorentina against AC Milan है for people who are interested in AC Milan. But like I said, मतलब watch out for Sunday night football. It's a crazy Sunday होने वाला है. We are going to be live यहाँ पर on Saturday. हम Almighty Sports में live होंगे कल. Definitely for the watch along on Almighty Sports. You know, a certain franchise I follow. But otherwise also we are covering a lot of content. People do give us a chance by hitting the bell icon, not just the like button. So that आप लोग पता लगे whenever you're putting any kind of content on both the channels. Again, first 2 lines of the description हमेशा रहता है that. But yeah, Real Madrid's Athletic Club is on Sunday late night. So that's an interesting one as well. But Marseille PSG, watch out for that one, 100%. Wobi is something which is always a heated battle on late Sunday night, I believe so. तो भाई अभी के लिए इतना ही है. Again, जो भी लोग देख रहे हैं, remember we are always a fan channel for all to see and will remain that way. कल सुबह we will get a video out on Almighty Sports and maybe a short यहाँ पर. और परसों we are live on Almighty Blues. So that's the plan for the next 2 days. Lekin you know that no matter what up the chels, but love you all and we will come back very soon. See you guys. Much love and enjoy kariye aaram se. Bye.